Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Happy Friday, everybody. The sun is shining and we are live on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Great to have you all with us. Big weekend coming up. Bomber training camp's going to be getting going as rookie camp finishes up. The Sea Bears begin their season. Josh Frey-Sam's actually going to jump on and tee up Sea Bears season for us. And we've got a lot of hockey to talk about. First off, congratulations to the Niverville Nighthawks of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. Big overtime win last night out in Prince Edward Island to kick off the Centennial Cup on a winning note. We'll stay keep you abreast of what the Nighthawks are doing representing the MJ at the Centennial Cup over the course of the next week. Big win for Carolina last night. They're up 3-0 in their series and two massive games tonight. Buffalo, Montreal, Anaheim, Vegas. We will touch on that. We'll actually head to Buffalo with Joe Yerdon a little bit later on in the program. Ken Wiebe's going to join us for some Jets off-season talk. We'll get Ken's takes on this Stanley Cup playoffs as well as the Jets and their options at 8 overall. As I mentioned, Josh Frey-Sam, Hacksaw coming up. It should be a really good one. We're going to get into. We got Canada's World Championship team, which a bunch of Winnipeg Jets and Manitoba content on that. Touch on that in a minute. And much, much more. Welcome to everyone in chat. Dr. Terry, what's up? I see the gang is all here. Hope everyone's ready for a great weekend. And shout out to all of you podcast listeners. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Hey, listen, just before we bring in Michael Remis, big thanks to all of our friends and wonderful sponsors that make the show happen each and every day. Dr. Terry's in the house, the great folks over at St. Vital Dental Center, of course, our partners at Coolbet Canada, Princess Auto, Chud's Power Sports. I imagine Chud's will be busy this weekend as we're getting closer to the nice weather being here normally. Clean Line, Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. The Tri-Hospital Lottery deadline is today. What do we have here? It's midnight tonight for the spring bonus. So get over. Do not wait. TryHospitalDream.com. Grab those tickets so you're in for every single bonus and early bird prize available. Manitoba Battery, Rollies Transfer, Assiniboia Downs, the Winnipeg Goldeyes, Travel Manitoba, Aikens Lake, Breezy Bend, Royal Sports, Boston Pizza, Little Brown Jug, and of course our friends over at Travel Manitoba. We'll get to a why not question of the day as well for Not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray. Michael Remis, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm ready for the weekend. Weather's warming up. Playoff hockey's underway. We do have a Moose game 4. Tonight as well, Sea Bears, Bombers, real training camp. We got the rookie camp now starting up. So it's a fun time of year. The Downs, Goldeyes, so many tickets sold for their home opener later this month. I'm feeling good. Weather's perking up. I can go outside now. We're not having these morning May snowfalls where it melts. We're long weekend just around the corner. A lot of things happening. So I'm feeling pretty good here on a Friday.
I did just take a look at the weather right now, and it's a little windy. It's 13. The weekend's not going to be particularly good. Highs of 9 and 10, which is BS right now. The normal's usually 18. But once we get to about Wednesday of next week, we're going to be in 20s, 19, 18. So just gotta gut it out a few more days. However, it is going to be sunny outside, and hopefully everyone can get out and make the most of it. Hey, speaking of tomorrow, Remo, we should just touch this right off. I got an email this morning about the team sale tomorrow. Bunch of game-used and game-worn stuff, but also fill me in on these lockers that are being auctioned off out of the Winnipeg Jet locker room as the massive renovation is well underway downtown.
Yeah, some big news for the Jets that was announced today, but yesterday they put out this note they're having a locker room sale at the arena where they have game-used jerseys, gloves, sticks, pants, and more. And if you do want to get some equipment, I have Jets skate guards I've had for years. Way better than retail. I know socks. I've got pairs. Some guys on my team have gloves. Like pro stock gloves are pretty good. So if you want an opportunity, this would be the day to go tomorrow. But in conjunction with that, the Jets announced today that they're doing some major dressing room renovations at Canada Life Center. So they've redone pretty much the entire concourse, and they called it front of house operations the last couple of years. But now it's time to do player facilities. So they put out a video where like the dressing room has been gutted. They're redoing a number of things, adding state-of-the-art technology and amenities, medical treatment, therapy, enhanced athletic workout space. They're trying to make the Jets facility top tier in the NHL and serve as an asset for player attraction and retention. They're putting in a new equipment room. And how about this, Huss? They're adding a tunnel, allowing access to the visitors' bench without crossing the ice. And you see that during the game where if a player has to leave and go to the bench on the visiting team, they have to wait till a stoppage in play. And, the Jets had a nice advantage where they could just go to their room behind. So they're putting in what do they dig underground? I kind of want to see it. It sounds really cool.
I was blown away when I heard this. And I mean, listen, I was working there back, when the arena was built and we moved into it in 2004. And I remember being in there when there was no roof outside and they kind of showed where the arena was going on, like every stage of it. So wrapping my head around what they're doing at ground level is actually difficult. And then when you mentioned they're building a tunnel for the visiting team to get to the dressing room, I have no idea how that is going to work. But it's certainly interesting. And then from a Jet perspective, and some people will sort of scoff at it, but you mentioned player acquisition and player retention as well. Mm-hmm. These players spend so much time in the team facility. If your team facility is not at the level of your counterparts around the league, that can be a big deal. So while for the fans, it's not really going to make a difference for us, hopefully it will help them in all aspects of team building and, as you mentioned, team retention. When it's all said and done, it sounds like it's going to be state-of-the-art and world class.
Yeah, I know they showed like Utah and Florida have got new practice facilities and they're showing them off. And the Jets, they hadn't done anything to the player area since 2011. And it says here in the release, adding 3,000 square feet of usable space. I don't know if it's just coming out of thin air or they're moving stuff around. They are moving, Huss, we'll care about this. They are moving the Matt Frost Media Center, where press conferences are. So I don't know where that's going to be now. Hopefully we can get some kind of tour and check this out when they return. But I think this is exciting. Like to see the investment from True North in the facilities. And they've done such a great job at, making new areas, redoing the concourse, and now they're doing the player. But importantly, to make room for all this stuff, they got to get rid of the old stuff. And they are having a sale. If you can go on the True North Shop eBay store, True North _eShop, very good eBay store, you could buy a player locker room stall. And how awesome would it be to have in the WST HQ, like one of the locker room stalls? Let's say we wanted the Gus Nyquist stall. I think that's one we could afford. That one's $500 for Gus Nyquist locker room stall. I wrote in the WST Discord, how great would it be to have Gus Nyquist locker room stall? It's signed by him. Look, signed. Although Leslie Mitchnick noted in our Discord that bad juju with the Gus Nyquist locker room stall. But I think look how nice this is. They got a nice chair, hooks. You can put all our gear there. Or if you had like a house, like at the front of your house, when you're getting ready to leave, like you could sit there and put your shoes on, hang your jacket up. So they have all of them. So Gus Nyquist started at $500. If you wanted a Connor Hellebuck, I think that was Gabriel Vardy, $2,000. There's one bid. Someone bid $750 on iFollows. Let's see. They're varying starting prices. Let me go the highest first. Yeah, 2,000 Velarde, 2,000 Taves, 2,000 Hellebuck, Morrissey 2,000, Connor 2,000, and then you got some for 1,000, blah blah blah. So, pretty exciting opportunity, I think, for Jets fans to enhance your man cave or your home.
Yeah, I mean, man, I'm just thinking about my place. You know, it's like having that thing a sit. You could have your jackets, your shoes, and they're on that one. That's actually a pretty good idea, Remis.
I would have this like we just got a hook for our jackets. I got to tell my wife we got to get rid of this hook, and we're getting this Colin Miller Jets locker room stall 500. Look how sick this is.
Not too bad. Yeah, obviously, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see it, but if you go to the Jets gear site, you'll be able to check.
That's a custom like seat there with the Jets logo. 500. That's pretty. Probably like what is this thing worth in materials?
I'm actually a good pal of mine is actually building the new ones for the new dressing room.
Okay.
I was kind of I didn't even know that this was happening, and then I got a little bit of info that, working on a bunch of stuff for the Jets. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, the entire new building, basically, downstairs. So, anyways, that is some cool stuff. So check that out. And yeah, tomorrow, where is is it at the arena or in Jets gear tomorrow for the sale?
I've been before. I think you like line up like outside Jets gear before 10. Like go, if you're going to go, like go right at 10. What did I buy one year? I bought I used a 2-piece stick still, and so did Buff. So I bought some Buff blades from them, and they last way longer than retail. Like, I'm not breaking sticks. So
do you still use a Buff blade?
I have a bunch. I stopped. I don't use 2-piece currently, but I'm old school. For anyone still playing, I love the 2-piece. So if you change the blade. It's way more affordable than spending a lot on a stick. But if you want a pro stock stick, yeah, pretty cool. Although players, NHL players a lot bigger than me, and a lot stronger.
Also true.
I'm not. True. I don't know if I'm in the market. Maybe I have to pick one of the small, like the Ville Heinola. I would probably fit his stuff. He's more my size.
Last night in the NHL, we had the Canes kind of embarrass Philly. Like the third period of that game, they were getting away, and Philly was just out for blood, knowing that their time was probably running out in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 3-0. Another great game for Nikolaj Ehlers. And I don't know if it's me. Why not question of the day for what not Autocorp over at Waverly and McGillivray? Let me throw this out to the people. Does anybody have a hard time sometimes watching these Canes games? Not that they're not a great team. Not that they're not probably a team that could very well be playing in the Cup final for the ultimate prize. But I just find sometimes we're watching Nikolaj Ehlers do what he did for us for so long, and I just end up focusing away from the game that I'm watching to the guy that got away and just how much the team missed him last year, which then takes us to the predicament the team is in right now in this offseason after such a disappointing year.
Man, you watch him skate through the zone, how good he is at zone entries. On the power play, he's making these fast cross-ice passes. Every single one reminds you of the pass to Kyle Connor for the Manitoba Miracle goal. Just the way that the second line took a nosedive this year, and you realize how much he impacted Perfetti and Nemestikov's season. They really, they didn't have any secondary scoring, and he was it for the Jets last year. And happy for him on Carolina. And, you see those plays, the skating, through the neutral zone. And again, the stick handling, the shot, the drop pass to Jarvis the other day. It does make you sad about him not being on the Jets, but I guess you're happy for him for the success they're having. I don't usually do this, but a tweet came on my feed about Ehlers, and I had to respond to it because I don't like misinformation.
Reply guy.
I don't do this ever, but some guy said, all the Jets experts, I guess maybe I thought I was lumped in on this.
You're an expert.
I thought I was lumped in on this, who have been insinuating or insisting Ehlers left because of usage, seem to have nothing to say about him playing on the third line in Carolina. And while you note, yes, on the depth chart, he is listed on the third line with Martinook and Stahl. I mean, he moved around and played with Jarvis in Game 2, and you looked at last night's game. He had the third highest ice time among forwards, and then some. I get replied to, "You're cherry picking one game." Well, if you look at the entire playoffs, he is still third among average ice time per game among forwards. So I don't know the real reason why he left. We only can assume that it was usage. He didn't get the power play time here until his final.
I don't assume that at all, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I think it was.
I'm a little bit with the guy that you were spatting with, but
Yeah.
just because so many people they just assumed that was it. I mean, if he wanted to play first line, he could have gone some other places and would have guaranteed to be there. They tried him there. It didn't work as much. I mean, we've seen that before. And then he ended up being a mainstay on the second line for the most part. Now they're playing on the third line. But to your point, the one thing that team does that the Jets really never did is change up the lines, is move things around at all. And he's still got plenty of opportunity, contributed to a great team, and here he is right now. But anyways, we can't go down a missing Ehlers road today. We'll probably have plenty of time to do that over the course of the next few weeks because I don't think this team is going anywhere anytime soon. We do have Buffalo, Montreal tonight, and then Anaheim, Vegas. We'll talk about that coming up with Ken Wiebe in a little bit. We should mention the men's national team has been set for the World Championships, Remis, and there is a lot of Manitoba content and certainly a number of members of the Winnipeg Jets. Why don't you put that up and I'll read it out for the people. Here is your Team Canada for the Worlds, which will be getting going shortly overseas. Forwards, this is a good group. Matthew Barzal, Connor Brown, Macklin Celebrini, Dylan Cousins, Emmett Finney, Dylan Holloway, Fraser Minton, Ryan O'Reilly, Mark Scheifele, John Tavares, Robert Thomas, and Gabriel Velarde. Defense is Evan Bouchard, Dylan DeMello, Sam Dickinson, Dominion City's Denton Mateychuk, Darnell Nurse, Morgan Riley, Zach Whitecloud, former MJHL star, Parker Witherspoon, and then Jet Greaves, Jack Ivankovic, and Cam Talbot. So pretty good squad Canada sending over there, and obviously some local flavor, and 3 members of the Winnipeg Jets heading over to Switzerland to get things going in Zurich, along with our pals Dan Robertson and Kevin Sawyer.
Yeah, Nino Niederreiter will be playing for Switzerland as well. I saw on his social media he's got his hockey bag all packed. So this Canada team, man, and I think it's better than the U.S. team. U.S. got a bit of a younger-ish team. Canada, I mean, Ryan O'Reilly, Mark Scheifele, John Tavares, Robert Thomas, that is loaded down the middle. I mean, Dylan Cousins and Celebrini and Barzal as well. It seems like this team's all centers. Dylan Holloway just signed the big contract, so this is a nice group of forwards. Fraser Minton had a good season. And defense as well. I mean, Evan Bouchard didn't get nominated for the Norris, but he's one of the top guys in the league. And nice to see Dylan DeMello get the opportunity. So we'll have 3 Winnipeg Jets to follow, as you mentioned, with Dan and Kevin calling games. Will feel very familiar at a time when we don't have Jets hockey. So May 15 gets underway. That's next Friday. I feel like we'll be more tuned in. You know, USA won the Worlds last year and then won the gold medal at the Olympics. So Canada's, trying to get back on top. And I mean, what a way to do it with this team.
Yeah, so we'll be paying close attention to that. Lots of the Hockey Canada events right now. The men's team going over, and as I mentioned right off the top of the show, Niverville Nighthawks with a nice win over at the Centennial Cup to get things going. Flin Flon Bombers were playing this morning. Kind of neat that it was a Manitoba team representing the Saskatchewan League, although I guess it is on the border. They lost 1-0 to College Français de Longwy, the Quebec representatives. Thunder Bay North Stars are playing Canmore right now. We got the Sudbury and Truro. Niverville's next game, if you want to watch it, is tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. our time, noon Atlantic, taking on the Thunder Bay North Stars. Thunder Bay just starting their game for the first time or actually, I guess that says 4 p.m. today. So I think that game actually starts at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So anyways, they'll play 2 p.m. and then a quick turnaround for that noon game tomorrow. So that's the latest. And if you go to hockeycanada.ca, there's links to watch it on their streaming service. And, of course, all the details from the tourney. Remo, just while we're talking Stanley Cup, and this will be kind of fun to do before we talk to Ken, let's get to a kind of a special Chud's Power Sports Power Poll brought to you by our friends at Chud's, Manitoba's Power Sports Superstore up in Gimli at the corner of Highway 8 and 231. All the new stuff is in for spring: boats, RVs, ATVs, motorcycles, you name it. Check them out online at chudspowersports.com and go up and hit the Derminator for it. We're going to be doing Conn Smythe favorites. Now, we have the power poll ready. The 5 names for it have been set. I don't know who they are, and you're going to hit me, and I'm going to do the blind ranking and see if we can come up with a good list for the Conn Smythe Trophy right now.
Yeah, I built this power poll game here using AI tools. So I was vibe coding. I vibe coded this power poll game. So
I still don't know what that means.
I've seen people using that term online. I've always wanted to say it, that, yeah, I vibe coded. We got the power poll blind ranking. So first name is Freddie Anderson. Where do you think he ranks among the top 5 names that I have for the power poll?
He's got to be up there. He's got to be up there right now. And again, with what happened last night, geez, I'm gonna put Freddie Anderson right now at 2.
Okay, Freddie Anderson at 2. He is leading goalies. GAA is absurd here right now.
Nathan McKinnon. Jeez.
It's tough. It's tough.
The Nate Dog has been great. It was a bit of a quieter first round, and they've only played 2 more games. I think as this goes longer, McKinnon probably inevitably rises to the top. But Nate McKinnon right now, I'm going to put at 4.
4, okay. We got Quinn Hughes.
Ooh, Quinn Hughes. Well, they're down 0-2. He has been really good, but I don't think I can put him ahead of McKinnon, and it's unlikely that they're going to win. So, yeah, we'll go Quinn Hughes, number 5.
Okay, Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. Okay, now I got to think of who would the other person be, because Eichel has been the best member of the Vegas Golden Knights. I'll go 1 for Eichel.
Okay, you got Jack Eichel, and then Jackson Lacombe going into number 3.
Oh, you know what? Either way, I could have. Freddie Anderson, you could make an argument that would be at 1, but Lacombe, 100% the number 1 guy from Anaheim. It's a great look. And, at the end of this series, which is tied at 1, we'll get to this game a little later on, one of those individuals will probably be at the top with Freddie Anderson, who, of course, backstopped the Canes to that win over the Philadelphia Flyers last night. There is a special Conn Smythe contenders power poll for Chud's Power Sports. Pop by and see Dermot and the gang, the corner of Highway 8 and 231 in Gimli. All right, Sea Bears start this weekend. Our pal Josh Frey-Sam's been on the Sea Bears beat for the Winnipeg Free Press. He's going to join us in just a minute. But, folks, 10 hours or so until midnight and the deadline. 10 and a half hours for those of you with us live right on YouTube. Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery in support of the HSC, the St. Boniface Hospital, and the HSC Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today before midnight, and you'll be in for every single prize available in the lottery. They've got a record number of early bird and bonus prizes. And today is the spring bonus. Get your tickets before midnight. You'll be in for the grand prize. $1.35 million cash, or one of 6 incredible dream home packages worth $1.7 million each. But we've also got more early prizes than ever, including the spring bonus. And tonight at midnight's the deadline. One winner will have the choice between a Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid and a paddleboards package valued at over $48,000. A Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid and kayaks package valued at $47,000. A $40,000 Fair Connect travel voucher plus $5,000 cash, or $40,000 cash. There's also going to be 5 winners of a $2,000 shopping spree at St. Vital Center, CF Polo Park, or the Outlet Collection in Winnipeg, or $1,500 cash. You'll also be in for the summer bonus worth over $95,000, and another 26 early bird winners of prizing over $257,000. So don't wait. Try hospitaldream.com. Get your tickets today. You can also pop in to your local Red River Co-op location or London Drugs, and it is all in support of our big 3 hospitals in Manitoba. Our friends at Clean Line are ready for spring and summer. Now, Clean Line, for now 40 years, has been your local leader and in plumbing, heating, and electrical services, and are Winnipeg's most trusted plumbers and the official plumbers of the Winnipeg Jets, with over 40 years of fast responses, lasting results, and 24/7 emergency services across all of Winnipeg. When you are in a jam, don't forget Clean Line. They've got you covered with 24/7 emergency services. 204-500-2001 is the number. And of course, you can find out more online on Clean Line services at cleanline.ca. We were just talking about Chud's Power Sports. We're going to see the bikes out on the road, the ATVs on the trails, the boats, the RVs, all those things you need batteries for. Power up at Manitoba Battery, your local battery specialist with the lowest and best prices in town, beating the pants off the big box stores and the best in customer service as well. Keep on driving right past those big box stores to the Logan Avenue location or Dovercourt Drive in the south side of the city for the best in customer service and the lowest price batteries in town. We continue to get, for years, amazing feedback on all of our listeners and viewers that pop by Manitoba Battery. And hey, if you have a tough time getting down there, they'll deliver those batteries to you as well. Anywhere inside the perimeter, they'll do it all. So give them a call, shop online, manitobabattery.com, or pop in store today. And just before we bring in Josh, our friends at Rolly's Transfer are ready for a busy summer as well. Of course, last week, Connor and his mom were getting a move from Rolly's. He looked great in that WST truck. But just know that for over 60 years, Rolly's has been the most trusted name in moving in Manitoba and have moved so many of our viewers and listeners over the years. And part of that is a great deal for WST listeners. If you go to Rollies.com, click on Request an Estimate, use the promo code WST for a special discount on moving services and moving supplies. Let them know when and where you're moving and what needs to go, and they'll turn it around with a great quote and get you locked in for the white glove treatment that they've been famous for now into their 7th decade. For all your moving needs, make it Rollies. Find out more today online at Rollies.com. All right, Bombers are back. Sea Bears getting going this weekend. Let's bring in our pal Josh Frey-Sam from the Winnipeg Free Press. Josh, what's going on?
What's going on, Huss? You guys got me okay?
Oh, yeah, sounding
awesome,
good. Man. Looking like $1 million US tax-free as usual. What's going on?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. The weather is great. The sun is shining here. It's shaping up to be a great night to spark up a fire, and maybe watch some hockey, watch some basketball, maybe catch a Jays game, and indulge in an adult beverage or two as well. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
It's always Friday night's always a great night to spark up a fire. Let's get to the Sea Bears. It's just wild. I was reading your piece in the Free Press as we kind of get ready to start the season, and it is sort of wild if people hadn't been paying attention that Teddy Allen, that left in one of the more notorious ways a player has left a pro team in Winnipeg in a long time, is right back in the fold under new head coach Mike Rainbow.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible, man. And so and when Teddy Allen, it was kind of funny when Teddy Allen was kind of getting reintroduced here and at the Outlet Collection Mall when we met him, and Mike Rainbow was kind of fielding questions about how it ended last time and why is this time going to be different. And listen, he was pretty. It sounded like that him and Teddy had quite a few conversations over the years as well. Let's keep in mind these two remained in touch, actually, even though Teddy wasn't on the team. And it sounds like Mike Rainbow kind of laid out some ground rules, essentially, right? They had some talks and let him know, listen, if you come back here, if this is going to work, like I play a team style of game here. And I'm going to be expecting, he set out kind of the ground rules, the expectations for him. To Teddy's credit, man, I mean, he's kind of come in and it sounds like it's been very different. It sounds like he has matured. It sounds like Mike Rainbow's talking about in training camp so far, leading the team. Sounds like he's leading the young guys on the court. He's playing within the system. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. And it sounds like it's been pretty smooth sailing so far. Also, I mean, what's kind of interesting, it kind of caught me off guard that when Mike Rainbow said that him and Teddy had kind of remained in touch throughout all these years. When Mike Rainbow actually accepted the Sea Bears head coaching job, Teddy Allen was the first person to text him to say, hey, congratulations, which was kind of interesting, caught me off guard anyways. But it sounds like these two have reached an understanding of what's expected of Teddy. And Teddy's even talked about it too, what the difference is between when he was last year and between this time is he's even said himself, he thinks he's matured in the last couple of years. And part of that maturing, I mean, he got baptized last year, he said, which he said has made him feel a lot more grounded and has made him, given him something to anchor himself to, which I thought was kind of fascinating as well. And listen, above all, the thing I think that Sea Bears fans care about the most, this guy still knows how to score the basketball. And he is very much looking like the 2023 MVP version of himself in practice and in the scrimmage that they had at the inter-squad scrimmage that they had at Investors Group Athletics Center just last weekend. I think Teddy led all players with 31. I was keeping track of the stats there, and he was doing his thing as usual while playing in system. And so Teddy is saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. He's holding up his end of the bargain, as I wrote. And it sounds like, 2 years ago, that is in the past. As Teddy said, it's in the past and now is now.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Mike Taylor's no longer the head coach here. Mike Rainbow, who was involved, is now kind of the head knock. And often, I remember back in the old Moose days with Randy Carlyle as the head coach and Scott Arniel. I mean, there was a real good cop, bad cop nature. And, maybe the coach was a bit more of a hard ass and the assistant and Arnie would sort of lift the guys up. And, you don't know how those relationships work. But the bottom line is it didn't end well. But it's funny. Teddy must have had his Sea Bears alerts on if he was the first guy to text Rainbow that he got
That's
the
what
new
I was
job.
wondering. That's what I was wondering.
Who's still involved in all that. Listen, the last couple of years have been a little disappointing for the team, though. I mean, they've had high hopes. They've signed some big guys, some former MVPs, and it just hasn't worked. How different is the team right now? And tell us a little bit about Mike Rainbow and what he's had to say with his philosophy in building this team and getting better team results as opposed to individual ones.
Yeah, I will say Mike Rainbow is a rookie pro head coach for sure. He's a first-year pro head coach, but this guy is one of the more respected guys in Canadian university basketball as a whole. He is, if you have not watched Winnipeg Westman basketball, I can give you guys a quick rundown of, I guess, of what to expect here. I've covered and spoke with Mike for the last few seasons or so, plus just in covering the Winnipeg Westman and the Manitoba Bisons and things of that nature, amateur sports around the province. But Mike Rainbow has been at the helm of the Winnipeg Westman for the last 17 years, almost 2 decades there. And kind of the big things, the points of emphasis that you need to know about Mike Rainbow, defense first is the number one thing. He is notoriously had a defense first mentality. The first thing, and it was very evident, his very first training camp session, and actually the very first training camp sessions of his professional head coaching career were anchored around defense and making sure that they were getting the right switches and making sure that they were lined up correctly and they were calling things out correctly. So Mike Rainbow is definitely a defense first kind of guy. On top of that, he's a guy who loves to work in transition, So his players run a lot. They run hard as well. And the other thing that I will say, and this is kind of a little bit of a cliche, I guess every coach is going to say this, but if you haven't watched Westman games in the last 20 years, I mean, you won't necessarily know it. Mike Rainbow gets his guys to play hard. Like they like I said, they run hard, they play hard, and they're definitely, you want to talk about the old cliche of we're going to go out and compete. I mean, he gets his guys to compete. And to that point, he's done an excellent job over the course of his tenure of getting kind of the most out of a lot of guys and guys that maybe you wouldn't expect to get the most out of. 2 recent examples are his guards. I think about Sean Moranen, a all-time Winnipeg Westman guard, who just graduated. I guess it would have been 2 seasons ago now. He would have graduated and left the team. This is a 5'7", 5'8" guard who was overlooked and really nobody wanted anything to do with him because of his size. He comes in and ends up being one of the most respected guards in program history and one of the most prolific guards in program history. Now, this past season, Kato Haro, who is also not a big guy by any means, he's only 6 feet tall, 6 feet even. He's been the one waiting in the wings of Sean Moranen for the last couple of seasons. He gets his shot to be the guy and run things. And he goes out and ho-hum, once he gets his shot, ho-hum, he gets second team All-Canadian in his first season of being kind of the guy. And so that kind of just illustrates a little bit of what Mike Rainbow has been capable of in his time as the Westman coach. And I'm sure he's had quite an impact in his time as the assistant coach as the Winnipeg Sea Bears as well. Those are 2 examples. And the last thing I'll mention as well, just as far as what to expect from Mike Rainbow team, very versatile. He very much emphasizes versatility on both ends of the floor. Aside from, there's 2 guys that kind of come to mind right now on the roster, Armani Chaney, who's pretty much locked in at point guard, and then Jeremiah Tillman Jr., who's locked in at the starting 5, at the starting center position. Outside of that, Huss, I mean, you're talking about guys who can play guard, they can play forward, they can ball handle, they can handle the ball, they can, get the play to run through them, they can space the floor, they can shoot. And obviously, most important, as I mentioned to Mike Rainbow, is being switchable on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of guys you talk to him about who are, he loves because he can defend the guard, the starting guard. He can defend the power forward. He can defend whatever position that you need him to defend, which is going to make the Sea Bears that much more formidable on the defensive side of the ball. And so that's just a quick rundown of what to expect from a Mike Rainbow-led team. I think it's going to be fascinating. And to be honest with you, man, I love Mike Taylor, the human being for sure. I loved how he handled media, dealt with media, and his presence in the community, all that stuff. And I'm not going to call, make any kind of bold predictions here or anything like that. But it wouldn't shock me if it was very clear, very evident early on that it was, in fact, an upgrade at the head coaching position just because of Mike Rainbow's expectations, his philosophy, and how detail-oriented he clearly is.
Well, listen, I mean, coaching means so much in basketball, but you also got to have the dogs. And, you mentioned some of the players that have come in. Great to see Simon Hildebrand back with the club. He made the long drive back with Dad from college and now is ready to get going. Fill people in on just the local content of the team with Simon back going into tomorrow's opener.
Yeah, so Simon Hildebrand is a guy who I think a lot of everybody's is familiar with. One thing people won't be familiar with is just how big he has gotten. This guy's been on that D1 diet and strength and conditioning program, no doubt about it, okay? And that's not a knock at the U Sports level or anything like that, but this guy has been training and eating like a D1 athlete where he's been playing the last couple of seasons. He looks like a man now. Like, he looks like a grown man, and he is big and he is powerful and he is physical. And he's talked about that since he got here, and even when he first signed, of it's reflected in the type of game that he plays. It used to be just kind of a guy who would space the floor and he could knock down the 3. Now he could take it to the rack if you need to as well, and he can dominate interior as well. Kyler Filowich is back from last season, another guy who played Division I, obviously spent his time at Wofford and actually ended up playing in the NCAA tournament. And he actually is going to be he feels a lot more confident this season as well, because Sea Bears were kind of his first taste of pro basketball last year, and now he's actually gone overseas. He spent the regular season overseas, and now he comes back with a full year of pro experience under his belt, and so he's expected to look a little bit different as well. You look at Kato Haro, who I mentioned as well. He's going to be a bench spot who maybe he'll be able to see some time, a U Sports guy. And then you got Mason Krause, who's another interesting guy. He had a awesome career with the Manitoba Bisons as a guard, has actually played all around the world just with Canadian national teams as well in 3-on-3 tournaments and things of that nature. But Mason Krause, who he is actually, I believe, playing in Germany after this season. He signed his first pro contract, but he is now officially a pro. And so he is fighting for every contract, just like every other guy out there. So that is going to be another guy to watch. And then there's going to be a lot of Emmanuel Acott is the last kind of full-time guy who we need to know about. Emmanuel is a guy who very clearly, he actually kind of had, not similar to Teddy Allen, same, but different, but he was a guy who also kind of had his own issues last summer. People might remember he was expected to be, there was an understanding that he was going to be with the Sea Bears all summer. And then he actually ended up being recruited by, and now the country is escaping me which country he ended up going to, but he ended up going to the Afro-Basket tournament in Africa, representing his country, where I believe his parents are from. And that obviously that did not sit well because he had an agreement in place with the Sea Bears to play the entire summer there and that he wouldn't do that, but he went anyways. That kind of like the Teddy Allen stuff, it sounds like, is behind them. And so he's back and he's playing, and he's a guy who Mike Rainbow is definitely going to be, as said, he's going to lean on a lot because of his switchability, his versatility, his ability to defend and play a lot of different positions. So those are the kind of the local guys to keep in mind. And of course, there's been several local guys in at training camp as training camp bodies, and they've been awesome. Guy Ramogi Nuguri, who's a guy who I'm sure we will be talking about in a couple years' time here, just with just how much of an athletic freak he is. But aside from that, that's the local rundown here. It's an exciting crop, and it's an exciting crop that's going to be leaned upon throughout this season. Yeah,
man, it's going to be fun to get back out to see the team. Now they start on the road tomorrow against the Edmonton Stingers. It's a 2:30 game. Back for another week of practice, and then the home opener for the Sea Bears is next Saturday at Canada Life Centre against Remis's favorite team, the Saskatoon Mamba.
It's kind of we get to see those guys. They're rebranded, formerly the Rattlers.
Yes, Remis is convinced that it's the worst rebrand in professional sports history. Every time we even mention the Mamba, it's an interesting look. I'll say that. The
black and purple is an interesting color scheme, and then also like the logo, I feel like could have just like, it looked like maybe you threw it in ChatGPT or something and said, "Hey, spit something out to me, man." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I agree with Remis to a certain extent. However, Mamba, the actual name itself, Mamba is that's kind of cold to me, but I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, man. Actually, one thing on the game tomorrow, real quick though, is there's already a little bit of heat behind this game here, a little bit of trash talking. I don't know if you guys heard about this. So Jordan Baker, who is the Edmonton Stingers head coach, GM, and president, came out last week and he said, and I quote, "There's going to be some familiar faces in the building. The grass isn't always greener." And who he was actually talking about is the one guy that we have not talked about, who is going to be, Sea Bears fans are going to get very familiar with very quickly when he gets here, probably in at least a couple of weeks away now, is Xavier Moon, who spent 3 seasons in Edmonton, won the league MVP award all 3 seasons he was there, and decided, and has been away from the CEBL since that time, since 2021, decided to come back to Winnipeg because Rainbow lured him over to Winnipeg. So we're assuming that he was talking about Xavier Moon, the former MVP. Of course he was. And there are other players on Sea Bears who played in Edmonton, but it was clearly about Xavier Moon, the former MVP. But also, Xavier Moon is not going to be suiting up in this game because he is in Russia still right now, finishing up his winter season. Having said that, the second part of that quote was Baker taking a little bit of a shot at the Winnipeg Sea Bears organization, saying the grass isn't always greener over there. So I asked Mike Rainbow, and Mike Rainbow, for the record, is not a guy, he's a good quote 9 times out of 10, but he is not a guy who's going to give you the spicy stuff a lot. He's not going to react. He's going to say he's very media trained. He's going to say the right thing. He said, I pushed him a little bit for an answer, thoughts on it. And he said, "Listen, man, I don't know what he's talking about. I coach basketball, not a soap opera." So I think there's a little bit of heat behind this game already. There's something to look forward to. These teams, the next time they play, I think, is near the end of June in Winnipeg, when Xavier Moon will be here and he'll be back. But for the time being, man, this game's got a little bit of heat to it now.
Love it. I mean, get a little drama, a few storylines going on to the squad, and then we'll see what happens this weekend. It would be nice to get off to a good start and not be playing catch up like they were last year, and then get ready for the upcoming home opener next Saturday. Hey, while we've got you here, Josh, we got the rookies on the field out at Princess Auto Stadium right now with the Bombers going on. And sure do. Just what do you think about this upcoming season? And in particular at the quarterback position, we know Zach Collaros is going to be the guy, but I got to tell you, I mean, seeing Ehlers out there, it's kind of really neat. This is the first time I can remember the Bombers having an exciting quarterback prospect, never mind the fact that he's got a Canadian passport. I mean, you just look at the guy. He looks like CFL Justin Herbert or something like that. And then Bryce Perkins coming in from the UFL. I mean, listen, this team will go as Zach Collaros carries them, but it is somewhat exciting, I think, for Bomber fans to look at this team, this QB room right now, knowing that the future has a couple players that could potentially be big parts once Zach is finished slinging it for the Bombers.
Yeah, no question about that. And the thing that kind of, and I hate to put a cloud over this, but the thing that is it is the future, in my opinion, and it is going to be very much. It's going to take a lot, like for Bombers fans that might be thinking like, hey, maybe Taylor gets a little bit of a shot at some point to see maybe if Zach goes down or something like that. No, like, I mean, I think that it's going to take a lot for Taylor to get it. But having said so, I think it's going to be Terry. I think how it's going to shake out is going to be Terry as the number 2, and maybe one of these two. It could be. I think it'd be Thorne, or I think it would be Elgersma as the number 3. But it maybe they find a way to fit, whether it's Thorne or whether it's Perkins.
You think Terry Wilson will still be the number 2?
Because here's the thing, man, is that I just know how much Mike O'Shea values just him being like knowing what is going on, the playbook and all that stuff. And like, I'm not saying that he's the best option by any stretch of the imagination.
They didn't seem to have much confidence to throw him in years past. I mean,
they did not. But what I will say as well is that it's interesting because Mike, I did watch his press conference from opening day when they were asking about just guys who might have a leg up, for example. That was the word he used. And Mike said, yeah, of course, they're going to have a leg up if they know. And this kind of goes to, we've talked about in the past, Mike O'Shea's his loyalty, and which may be loyal to a fault in many occasions, and his affinity for guys who have been in the system, been there, done that. I think that Terry Wilson, for that reason, it is his job to lose right now. And I'm not saying that he can't lose it, but I would personally, without having watched him yet this training camp, I personally believe it is his job to lose, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And Elgersma, as far as Elgersma goes, man, I haven't seen Elgersma up close in person, watching him live, but I did have the opportunity, me being a Green Bay Packer fan, I got to watch him play 3 games in the preseason last year, and I was raving about him. It genuinely shocked me that he did not make the Packers roster, at the bare minimum, wasn't kept on the practice roster. It shocked me. Floored me because of how much he improved on each and every single game that he was in there. He's got a big arm, got a live arm. He spins the crap out of the ball, and it was evident on TV. So I'm interested to see how this thing shakes out.
Hey, Josh, at what point do you think the NFL news cycle revolves once again returns to actual NFL players and news and away from the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini scandal?
You don't like reading about Diana? You don't. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't.
Listen, I'm here for it. I mean, it cracks me up, and I mean the way that like just every day is something else. Like at some point, someone will probably write a book on this or something with like how things are being disseminated. Like with all the stuff that we're hearing now and the other stuff that's out there, how the hell did it take until now for something like this to actually come out? And you can speak to this, like as a journalist working for the Free Press, like, listen, NFL player or coach running around with another woman is far from breaking news. I hate to tell everyone this, but there is, in your profession, it gets very complicated when all of a sudden you're sleeping with somebody that you're actually covering, which is why it was such a big story to begin with. And now, I mean, now that Page 6 and TMZ is all in on this, like, it doesn't seem like it's ever going to end.
Yeah, I am fascinated to see how this thing kind of shakes out, and like a clear conflict of interest there. The one thing that kind of shook out to me, and I don't know if we talked about this last time I was on here, but like the one thing that kind of stood out to me was how like nobody else really said anything. Like when this broke, like usually, and I don't know, maybe this is everybody just minding their own business and sitting back, but like all these other journalists, nobody said anything. Nobody said, oh, I've known Diana for years. Like, I know that, maybe she made a mistake, but like, her heart's in the right. Like there's been no backing. There's been no support for her. And like that to me is extremely telling of maybe what her what the perception was of her around the industry, and maybe how, I know that there's a lot of rumors going around about, I know Sean Payton's name has been thrown out there in the past about like what, maybe there's been other relations there or something like that. But like the point being though, is that it's kind of clear that there was a perception around her not only among the fans and the readers, but also around her colleagues as well. I think it's been very telling the way that the way that it's been all kind of handled.
Well, and the other thing is just the way the NFL kind of, not wanting any part of this I mean, if you look at their partners, ESPN being their biggest partner, I mean, there was a straight up gag order on this for a long time and no one was touching it. And now we're here. And I mean, like, do you think that there's any chance that Vrabel can't coach this year or that something changes? Like, I mean, me personally, and I don't know why more people haven't talked about this, but I mean, I kind of do think that, especially as we see that this has been going on for years since he was in Tennessee. I mean, listen, this wouldn't be the first time if maybe a couple was together with a couple kids that wanted to stay together just to kind of keep things going. We're doing things on the side. Like, that's why for me, the Vrabel stuff, I'm like, big deal. Yeah, he was having an affair. We get it. Yeah. What's really fascinating is what this does to Rossini, whether she can come back. When she does, what role will it be? Where will she work and all that? But, I mean, to me, seeing the stuff at TMZ, I mean, it's like a lot of people can't get enough of it just because it's more information on the same story, but it just doesn't tell us anything. We've known this for the last 2 weeks as everything else has come out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that yeah, with Vrabel, I would be shocked if this affected in any way, shape, or form.
They were 4-3. If they were 14 or 4-13 last year,
maybe it's a different
story. But we all know what's the bottom line in the National Football League.
That's right. Yeah, and so I think that obviously maybe. I don't know. I maybe some of this, maybe his players don't really care, but maybe he has to have a little bit of a talk with the players and let them know here's what the deal is. And, I obviously got caught with this and so on and so forth, but I don't really see it having an impact on his ability to coach. But my more thing is about Rossini, like you said. I'm curious about, I don't know if she maybe goes back to work with like under somebody else, but for another publication, but like, I'm thinking I'd be shocked if she didn't get back into the media in some way, shape, or form, as far as maybe she runs her own podcast or maybe she runs her own thing. Like, I think that is kind of her avenue back into it, because, I mean, you could question her morals and you can question the way she went about things, but she did do things. She was pretty good at what she did, and the information that she did get. So I think that, I mean, I'd be shocked if she didn't at least provide maybe her insight from an outsider perspective. But I also do wonder if she tries to go back into kind of a similar role that she had, even if it was by herself, like just trying to be an insider, but an independent kind of insider. I do wonder if is she able to get the same scoops as she was before? You know what I mean? Like, how does this affect her reputation and things of that nature? So I'm curious about the ripple effect.
It is quite the saga. It is quite the saga. Listen, great stuff. We'll look forward to Sea Bears coverage in the Free Press, and we'll look forward to talking some more football with you coming up as well. Anything you got coming up before you go?
It's a Sea Bear summer for me, man, in amateur sports, and I will have a couple of stints on the Bombers for as well this summer, so I'm looking forward to that. But it's a Sea Bear summer for me. Do me a favor, though, if you guys are going to have Derek Taylor on the program, ask him, because I haven't been there. He was the only other guy who I think was as amazed as I was at the sheer size of Matthew Paterson's legs last training camp. Please do me a favor and ask him if he's gotten bigger or not, the legs, because that guy is
on the list for next week as we get into training camp.
Yes, I love it, man. Yeah, that. And hey, Kate, if I can throw out a quick name here, guy who really intrigued me as well, wide receiver room, Dorian Singer. Really liked watching. Remember watching him. He was catching passes from Caleb Williams at USC. Was expected to have a big year in that 2023 season at USC, coming off of a monster year at Arizona. I thought he was going to end up being like one of those risers, maybe at worst second round pick kind of thing, by all said and done, catching passes from Caleb Williams. Ended up falling, and now he finds himself in the CFL. That's just a guy who has a ton of talent, oozing with talent. Curious to see if he can't maybe make a run of some sort on this roster. Remains to be seen, but that's just a name that's kind of sticking with me.
I think it's funny you bring him up. I think he had a big touchdown catch in the some reps or scrimmage, whatever, early on in rookie camp from Elgersma. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't a name that we'd be talking about when we get to main camp coming up in the weekend. Josh, Frey-Sam, check him out in the Winnipeg Free Press. Enjoy, my man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you guys. Thanks for having me as always.
Good stuff. There is JFS on WST. All right, Ken will join us in a few minutes. Listen, we were just talking a bit of Bombers. Princess Auto Stadium, the place to be. Blue Bomber training camp and the Bomber home opener coming up on June 11th. Cannot wait. Of course, Princess Auto, proud sponsors of the Bombers and Winnipeg Sports Talk, and the place where you'll find the best deals on the most unique assortment of tools and equipment around. Everything you need to complete the projects on your list or start something new is waiting for you at Princess Auto. So pop by and see them. Panet Road, Portage Avenue West, out in Brandon. And you can always shop online 24/7, 365 over at princessauto.com. Had fun with the blind ranking of the Chuds Power Sports Power Poll today in the first segment of the program. I can't really say summer is here. It certainly isn't. Spring is barely here right now, but that does not mean that they're not amazing start of the season deals available over at Chuds Power Sports. As they say, the Aurora RVs, made for Manitoba, made for memories. They got the May motorcycle sales with Suzuki, Husqvarna, and more. Low boats. There are so many great deals right now with incredible financing packages and the most experienced staff in the province to help you get the best buy for you and your summer. And of course, amazing used equipment as well, all ready for you. Really has to be seen to be believed. We had such a good time up in Gimli when we did the show at Chuds Power Sports with the Derminator and the gang. You can find out more on everything they've got going on right now at chudspowersports.com, and pop up the highway. See them at the corner of Highway 8 and 231 in Gimli for the best in power sports and more for the Manitoba summer. I saw Dr. Terry right out of the gate in the chat. I know it's always a busy day at St. Patel Dental Center, but they'll make a point of popping in for the marble race, I'm sure. Listen, the folks at St. Patel Dental Center, great supporters of ours, and a place where generations of Manitobans have been getting their teeth taken care of. And now they've got a beautiful new facility at 167 St. Anne's Road with convenient free parking right behind the building. And if you and your family are looking for a great long-term home for all of your dental services, it is truly a one-stop shop. They've got you covered from clients from 6 months to 99 plus, with a full array of dental services, from cleanings and checkups all the way to things like dental implants. Dr. Terry and his staff can do it all. StVitalDental.ca is where you'll find them online. Book an appointment, pop in, and tell them the boys from Winnipeg Sports Talk sent you. And hey, great Friday night doubleheader. We got Buffalo and Montreal kicking it off from KeyBank in Buffalo. We'll go there in about 15 minutes or so with Joe Yerdon. And then we will talk to the Hacksaw. But then as far as after the game tonight, we're going to go to Anaheim. Pick 'em, I think, right now between the Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. Check out the games at your local Boston Pizza. Brand new playoff menu is waiting for you right now, including pizza flights, wing flights, the new MVP platter, a wild mozzarella stick version they've got with rosé sauce and the cup pepperoni, and of course those ice cold schooners to kick off the weekend as well. Or staying at home, you can get the great taste of Boston Pizza by ordering online at bostonpizza.com. All right, well, Ken has been fashionably late today. I'm not sure when he'll get in here, hopefully in just a moment. Remo, what were you saying we wanted to touch on just while we get...
Did you see the heart? Well, Ken's on his way, and he told me he's pulling in right now. He's at the Assiniboia Downs season opener press conference. But we do have heart...
i.e. the greatest buffet for the media. Like, what are the chances that Ken actually writes about this in the paper tomorrow?
I'm sure he will. He's a sports reporter. They cover everything in Winnipeg, don't they? We'll have to hear what Ken has to say. But I actually wanted to, we talked so much last year about Ken's Hart Trophy vote, where I think he wouldn't reveal it until after it was announced. Was that right?
Yeah.
But we do have the nominees for this year, and there's a lot of debate. I think there were at least 4 worthy candidates. But this year's nominees, we have Nikita Kucherov, Nathan MacKinnon, and Connor McDavid. And the guy not among the top 3, Macklin, Celebrini, who many had on their list. And when you look at points for this season, McDavid, he's an Art Ross winner, 138, Kucherov 130, McKinnon 127, Celebrini just behind on a much worse team, 115. And I think we get pulled into the debate, what does most valuable even mean? What does most valuable to his team? Like, shouldn't we just give it to the guy who had the best season? This stuff does determine what Hall of Fame, it does determine legacies, and we have a bunch of writers like Ken and others who are voting on this. So I'm curious how they're going to come up with this one, because this is a very, very tight race, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I said it before. I mean, if Celebrini got into the playoffs, he might have won the event. If the Sharks didn't make the playoffs, he probably wasn't going to be a finalist, and that's the way that it panned out. Kucherov, McKinnon, and McDavid. Interesting that McKinnon, is this right? McKinnon was not a finalist in the Pearson Award that was voted on by the players.
Yeah, it's now the Ted Lindsay Award, formerly Lester B. Pearson Award. And I believe, yes, that one is voted by the players. And that one was Celebrini, Kucherov, and McDavid for the most outstanding player voted by the NHLPA. So that one has a definition, most outstanding, most valuable. I know Ken takes his award voting very seriously, is most valuable to his team. So
yeah, he takes his buffets seriously too, and that's why he's just showed up. Okay, Joe Yerdon's coming up in a couple minutes, but let's get Ken in here. Weber, welcome. Nice to see you put the blazer on. Why not question of the day for you? Were you just there to eat, or will you be reporting on this in tomorrow's Winnipeg Free Press?
I was not there to report. I was there to provide support to Darren and Sharon.
Ultimate
and
media booth. This is why, you know, where people give to media guys about think, oh, free meal, they'll be there. You can get Ken to put a suit on and go anywhere. But I will say this: it is the greatest buffet you will find. So if there was ever a good day to do that, I'd do it. I'm like, Ken's on Mike usually writes
Double D is a very good supporter of sports, Huss. So we got to support as well. So
yeah, and you supported that by showing up and eating all their free food. Way to go, Ken. That's kind of you to go the extra mile. Hey, listen, let's get into some hockey.
Sure.
I do want to mention though, this segment is brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Time to check out the Toyota Tacoma. The available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor gives you a live underfold view to navigate even the toughest terrain with ease. When it's time to load up, the available power liftgate makes loading your gear in and out a cinch. Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealers are in reg tag days from March through May. Weber, what do you make of the Jets play post-lottery with the 8th pick in the draft?
yeah, certainly lots of mocks flying around the rooms. Huss, as you know, you've been checking yours out. I've been checking certainly things out. Speak to a lot of people who know a lot more about prospects than I do. Given the fact that we haven't seen any of these guys play, we know there's a lot of opinions on the matter. It's always interesting because we know there's always a curveball or two coming in those top 8 selections. We don't know if it's in the top 3 or if it's in the kind of 3 to 10 range. But I mean, what we know is that the Jets will be getting a very capable player. But I mean, the debate right now, based on where the Jets are at in this window is, how quickly can that player help the big club? And can it be as early as this fall? So tough to know that without knowing what the first 7 picks off the board will be. But there are some players in that range that could help the Jets as early as the fall. Viggo Bjork is a guy who obviously is attracting a lot of attention. And there's a lot of variance on him, Huss, because of his 5'9" or 5'9" and change stature. But this is a guy who plays like an absolute pit bull out there. So I don't think that size is going to be an issue for him. He played center in the Swedish Hockey League. He was on the wing at the World Junior, but this is a guy who projects to be an NHL center. So lots of speed, dynamic player. But I mean, unless it's Tyne and Lawrence, Huss, I mean, the majority of the players in that window look to be defensemen, whether that's Daxon Rudolph or, Smits, Albert Smits, who's already played against men. So, I mean, it's now versus later, and, how big the ceiling is, and, a couple other guys like Novotny, like there's some guys that are maybe going to be, or, there's guys in that range that are very intriguing, but they have a variety of skill sets. So, again, my feelings are, we talked about this in the Jets mailbag in the Free Press this week, and we debated it at our patron event last night, Huss, with Mike. I mean, in order for the Jets to even remotely consider moving that pick, it has to be a type of, again, everyone's saying second line center, but to me, it has to be a second line center with the ability to become a first line center in order to even entertain that thought, because Bjork is a guy who, again, he might not be there, but if he is, he's a guy that can be a dynamic top six forward and maybe has, first line potential down the road. So Carson Karels would be a storybook kind of player, but Huss, to me, he's not going to be there. He's going to be going to San Jose, or he's going to be going to Chicago, two teams with a glaring need on the back end. So I don't see there being a Manitoba player going to the Winnipeg Jets, but he's going to be the highest Manitoban pick since Nolan Patrick in all likelihood.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this, I mean, McKenna and Stenberg are going to be gone. Malhotra is probably going in, 3 or 4. Chase Reed, if he's not the first defenseman off the board and someone goes with Karels or goes with Verhoff, he'll be right off the bat. So we're probably talking about McKenna, Stenberg, Reed, Malhotra, Verhoff, Karels being off the board. And then there's one more pick beforehand. So if that pick is Albert Smits, then you're looking at the choice of the two centers between Tyne and Lawrence and Viggo Bjork. If one of those centers goes before, then one of that group of 5 rolls down. And we haven't mentioned Daxon Rudolph, who Shane Malloy came on with us. He has.
No, I mentioned him.
No, you did. I'm just saying, because I go through this thing. I haven't mentioned him in this. He's lower. He's as high as 5 on some lists, and almost takes that group of 5 defensemen into 6 defensemen. The Bjork's one's interesting, and people love him, but he's small. You know what that reminds me of? Zach Benson. How's that pick looking for the Buffalo Sabres right now?
100%, Huss, and a great hit with Shane, by the way, this week. I was able to listen to a lot of the hits that you've had with others. So, yeah, lots of great draft chatter. I think it's a great comparison. Maybe not, again, I don't know as much stylistically, but I know this is a guy with an incredibly high motor. Jason Bukla is obviously a friend of the Kenny and Rennie show and been on with us a lot. He absolutely loves Bjork. We were texting about him this week. Now, he also thinks that there's a good chance he could be off the board. But, and again, I'm with Shane. I think Daxon Rudolph would be an outstanding kind of 10-year partner for Josh Morrissey. But again, there's going to have to be a new contract for Morrissey, probably before Daxon Rudolph is making an impact. But no, though he is 6'2", incredibly high, gifted skater, has a big booming shot, right-hand shot defense. But now, Huss, I mean, that would solve one of the issues for the Jets there, but it still leaves the issue of the skilled forward position, which is why I think Lawrence and Bjork are kind of getting a little bit more love in this category.
There's certainly an organizational need.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, there's a lot of organizations looking for an influx of skill up front as well. So I mean, it's finding the perfect formula of team building is definitely something that's going to be getting a long look here. I saw one of the mocks today mentioned the Russian forward that's playing in Saginaw as also being a possibility, kind of around that range here. So again, we'll have to see.
Is that Novotny guy?
No, Novotny is the team Czechia that's playing in Peterborough.
Morozov?
Yeah.
He's going to Miami, Ohio next year?
It's 100% possible. And then Beckholtz, sorry if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Beckholtz too is getting Ethan lots of love.
He's a winger though. Like, I can't
imagine.
Strong
winger, yep.
I would be shocked. Here's a take for you, Ken. I would be stunned if the Winnipeg Jets make their pick at 8 and it's not either one of the defensemen that we've talked about or a center. Yeah.
Sorry, Nikita Klepov from Saginaw.
Oh yeah, okay. I see him just in the
He's also in that
tankathon
range
thing. They've got
too.
him in at in and around at 18. Is what this is the just the tankathon one after they
And sorry,
they ran through.
Belchetz, I think is the pronunciation. Sorry about that. I think the problem with that is obviously big size. Maybe can jump in a little bit sooner, but again, not the fastest skater, though he is drawing comparisons to people like Valery Nichushkin. So, and again, Jets fans don't need a very, they don't need an elbow reminder of the impact a guy like Nichushkin can make in a playoff series.
Now, for the record, I do not want the team to entertain trading the pick. I think it's too important to try to get a real core piece for the future. That being said, what do you think the chances that the pick is traded, and what would it take to get Kevin Cheveldayoff to not go to the podium at 8th overall?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty low chance that it gets moved, Huston. I think too. Like I would say, I mean, most people saying you got to get a 2C. The only way you are making that trade is if that 2C has the ceiling to become a 1C. Because as we know, even though Mark Scheifele just had his best season of his career and has been drinking from the fountain of youth, at some point in that 5 years that are remaining on the deal, the chances of him being passed in that depth chart position, it has to be a reasonable possibility. So to me, I don't think it's as simple as saying, oh, if you can get a 2C, you do it. Well, no, that 2C has to have the ceiling and upside to become a 1C at some point in the next 3 to 5 years, for me anyways. I don't think you do it for a second pairing defenseman. I don't think you do it for and again, no offense to just a 2C, Huss. That 2C has to be eventually have the potential to be a point a game player. I mean, I know that the discourse has forgotten that Pierre-Luc Dubois had 2 seasons of 60 plus and almost 70 points. So I mean, that's a upper echelon 2C. So again, very few teams have the Nathan McKinnon, Brock Nelson, or Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl 1-2 situation. But and again, the other issue for this is, Huss, if you're a team that's willing to trade that player, are you doing it for the 8th overall pick? I mean, that also seems kind of unlikely. So anyways, it's going to be super interesting. But again, I'm with you. I think it's maybe 90 is too strong, but I think it's an 85+% chance that the Jets are making that pick and should make that pick because it's their highest pick since Patrick Laine 10 years ago. Huss. So to me, I think it's a pick that's got to be made. I understand some of the noise and outside noise and everything else, and you got to appease players who are wanting things now. Yes, you need to upgrade the roster now, but unless the Jets are moving up into the top 5, I don't think you move that pick under any other circumstance. And again, the trading down aspect also, Huss, doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because the asset that you're going to be attaching to that pick, I don't think is high enough to fill those needs in the immediate situation here. But again, the beauty of this is that all these 32 teams are going to make their list. All of the closet general managers and armchair GMs, which again, it's part of the job. Most of us haven't seen those players play live one time. So again, it's going to be an interesting situation in terms of how the opinions are being forged. And again, positional need, birth certificate, passport, all these things are considerations this time because the Jets have to have this pick hit, and he has to be someone that becomes part of the next core, Huss, no matter when he enters the NHL, whether it's this fall or next fall.
You mentioned passport. What passports would be a negative for the Winnipeg Jets?
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to lump this into one category, but I think you would have to be, there would have to be some hesitation based on how things have gone with certain American players. Now, again, we can't make this a blanket statement because an American player just signed an 8-year deal with the Winnipeg Jets. And before him, Connor Hellebuyck signed a 7-year deal. So I'm not here saying the Jets can't draft an American player because Rutger McGroarty wanted to play in the United States of America. That's not what I'm saying. And, another one of those interesting names, and I think he's a center. I mean, Wyatt Cullen is a guy out of the U.S. National Development Program, right? Son of Matt Cullen. So, again, Matt Cullen's roots are, around North Dakota, I believe, Huss. So I don't think you would be nervous about a player like him, but I think he's a little bit lower in the draft boards, and I don't see him being a top 10 player. So I don't think you'd be nervous there. I don't think you would be nervous, Latvia.
The reason I bring this up is actually about Bjork. And I'll be honest, I hadn't really thought of this until we talked to Shane Malloy, but he brought up a very good point that, the Jets have spent a number of picks on Swedes. And the jury's still out on, Frey and obviously Boumedienne. but he went down the list of the players that they'd picked, in early rounds from Sweden that hadn't worked
and Finland
out.
too, Huss, right? I mean, Nikkanen too. I mean, I totally get it, but I don't think that I don't see Bjork being in that category of player. Yes, I know Torgerson and some of those other guys played at the World Junior, but they didn't have the same kind of impact. Nikkanen had that impact at the U18 tournament that was heavily scouted by Mark Hillier and company, and that never translated at the Moose level, at the American League level. But Bjork, to me, is a little bit more dynamic player than any of those other guys that we mentioned or that Shane mentioned. I mean, it definitely is worth mentioning, but I don't think the Jets will be, nervous about, Finland, Sweden, or Latvia if it ends up being Smiths. I don't see that being an issue.
Ken Wiebe of the Winnipeg Free Press with us here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Obviously, we'll be spending lots of time talking about the Jets and the draft and everything else over the course of the next 7 weeks or so until we get to Buffalo for the picks to fly. I brought up Zach Benson before, just when we were talking about smaller guys.
Yeah.
That combination of he and Josh Doan, along with McLeod, has been so phenomenal. I mean, those guys seem to literally be built for the playoffs. And I know there's a lot of talk about, cup contenders and who's a contender right now. Those are the sort of players that make you the best you can be in the playoffs, and they seem to be dragging themselves and their team in it, at times when they're not. How do you feel about this series, Buffalo-Montreal, this game tonight, and the chance of either of those teams who's lucky enough to survive going up against the Hurricanes, who seem to be doing what they usually do at this time of year, and that's roll through the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, it's super interesting, Hudson. And first of all, just like a little bit, we're always trying to provide a little inside baseball when we can. And I mean, the thing with that ice, those 2 ice teams that rolled through Winnipeg, right, in those Western League days, what we always heard about Benson, Huss, undersized, but he might have the ability to be the most successful pro. Nothing against Matt Savoy, who was a very impactful player here, Huss, but even at the time, I think people that you talk to behind the scenes were like, because Benson's better defensively and because his motor revs a little bit higher, even though Savoy had the higher skill set maybe at the time, a lot of people thought Benson was going to be the better NHLer. So I don't think it should become as a big surprise that Zach is having this impact. I think the surprise, us to your point, is that he started doing it at 19 years old, right? Basically. So
What do you went straight in?
18. Sorry, yes, 18 years old.
Well, and the other surprise was, after all of those conversations, when it actually came to step up on draft day, 12 teams passed on him, and he fell all the way to 13, while Savoy went 7.
Yeah, no, and that's super interesting. But again, that's also a reminder, Huss, that the people that were saying, "Oh man, if you don't get a top 5 pick, you're screwed." Well, no, guys get picked at different spots for different reasons and develop at different times. But Benson's just fantastic. I mean, Joe knows this from dealing with him a little bit more. But in the 2 times a year that we see Zach Benson, I mean, he enjoys talking to guys who covered him in junior when he comes through town, and he's an outgoing, kind of fun kind of guy who really enjoys talking about hockey, and that part of his life was a fun time for him. So yeah, I mean, he's having a huge impact. And in terms of the original question, I mean, Carolina is obviously the favorite coming out of the East. We knew that going into the playoffs. I do think Buffalo wins the series, Huss, and I do think Buffalo can give them a game for sure. They'll give them a good push in the series. But the problem for Buffalo is that, they're going to be facing a team that has been to the conference final a ton and has had a little bit more in terms of the, the scar tissue buildup that we've seen. And again, a lot of people were making fun of the comment from Rob Brind'Amour saying, "Oh, this wasn't a sweep," and when they got, beat by the Florida Panthers. But I mean, they were that close in a lot of games. And to me, Carolina just made some upgrades to their team. We know this, whether it's Keandre Miller, whether it's Nikolaj Ehlers, they made moves to help them be better when it matters most. So I do still see them being the team to beat in the East, but I do think the Buffalo Sabres are definitely a capable adversary. I just feel like, based on how much we've seen Carolina, have some issues when it comes to getting to the Eastern Conference final, I just think that some of that experience and scar tissue is going to be sort of the overriding factor in the Eastern Conference if those 2 teams happen to meet. And same thing applies to Montreal. They're just starting to build up their scar tissue, Huss. And here's the other part about Montreal. They're getting great contributions from Slavkovsky. There's no way Montreal can beat either Buffalo or Carolina until they get guys like Cole Caulfield going. I mean, this is a 50-goal guy, Huss, that has not been able to get anything going in the playoffs to date.
He did score in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's not having the same impact as he had during the year, though, right? I mean, like, he was not a factor against Tampa, and again, that's good for him to get on the board, but anyways, they need
that
more.
Was a Tampa thing. Like, I have a feeling that we'll see a lot more Cole Caulfield and some of those players through this, just because of the way that they were challenged by Tampa and
fair.
The heaviness of that team.
I just think the mobility of the Sabres defense, and Joe would know this better than I do, but I mean, when you're looking at trying to go up against guys like Dahlin, Owen Power, and Bo Byram, I mean, these are big, strong, mobile guys, so they can contain the speed for one, and they also have the physical capability to kind of keep them under wraps, much like Tampa did.
Great stuff. Just on the way out, what was on the plate at ASD? I'm living vicariously through you because I couldn't make it.
Definitely a little Caesar salad. They did have the beef Wellington, had a little bit of prime rib, and I happened to, as you know, Huss, I like to scout these tables out. I did happen to see one of the head pastry chefs out there. She mentioned that the strawberry cheesecake was her number one, so I had to follow the lead, and I went with it. So
love it. We're heading out there June 3rd, so these are important tips. Kenny, have a good weekend. I will talk to you soon, pal.
You too, Huss, and hello to Joe, one of the good humans out there. Have a great, enjoy the series, my man.
Yes, not a noted jerk, despite popular review. Let's actually go right from Ken to Buffalo and bring in Joe Yerdon, who is getting ready for Game 2 tonight at the KeyBank Center. Montreal and the Buffalo Sabres. We got a doubleheader tonight. Of course, Anaheim and Vegas a little bit later on. Remo, if we can get Joe in here, we'll set it up. But Mr. Yerdon, thanks so much for jumping on with us today. I imagine probably not a lot of work getting done in the Buffalo area today on this fine Friday afternoon before Game 2. What's up?
What a lead in from Kenny, man. That's awesome to have Kenny pumping my tires there. Yeah, it is a gorgeous spring day here in Buffalo, and I tell you, I cannot wait to see what the scene is out on Canal Side and out on the plaza before the game. I'm wondering if I'm like cutting it close now by not getting down there already, because it might be party time. Everybody cutting out for happy hour.
Well, I want to know. I really wish the Blade Gang would just like, can we get a GoPro on one of those guys' helmets and just like, let's get a Blade Gang live stream all afternoon into the tailgate, right into the rink. But listen, one thing we can't guarantee is the people of Buffalo are going to be lit. It is going to be wild outside and inside beforehand. Let's talk about this challenge though tonight. I mean, round number 1, they didn't play particularly well through 2 periods. They had that incredible comeback. And then they were a little flat in Game 2. Obviously, they took care of business on the road. I would suggest this Montreal Canadiens team is a much more formidable opponent all around than the Boston Bruins. How do they avoid a similar fate in Game 1 and get to Game 3 in Montreal with a 2-0 lead?
Well, I think the best thing for them to do is to remember to stay cool and stay calm, because one of the big things that we had to ask Lindy Ruff about going into Game 1 of this series was, you know, how do you explain a team that's got a home ice advantage like this with the crowd being on fire every game? You know, how do they drop two out of 3 games at home against, you know, to the Bruins at home? And part of that reasoning was you know, how guys were handling it. Like they were getting really pumped up, like maybe getting a little bit too into it, a little bit too, driven bonkers by how crazy the fans were, and kind of lost focus a little bit. And you had to wonder if that would be the case in Game 1. And, you knew there was going to be Montreal fans around. Granted, not as many as we've gotten used to seeing here at the arena in the past. The Sabres fans did their job, but the guys were locked in. And if there was a team that, this isn't a point I've been making about this, but if there was a team that was shook up by the crowd, it might have been Montreal, by how intense Sabres fans were and how the Sabres came after them. They have to do that the same way in Game 2. And, Montreal's going to adjust. They've adjusted all playoffs, and Marty St. Louis was very clear. We can we can figure this out. This is not a problem for us. We've done it. We did it all first round. So this is going to be a different kind of test. I can't imagine we're going to see some of the same puck foibles the Canadiens had in game 1 and game 2. So they have to stay steady. They got to shoot a little more probably. Although if you're putting in 4 of 9 shots, I guess you don't really need to shoot as much.
Well, dude, you mentioned 4 of 9. I mean, when that happened and I looked up and they had a 4 there and they had 9 shots, all I could think of was, I hope John Cooper's not watching this game, because he would be losing his mind after what they went through in game 7 to not be there playing in Buffalo and then seeing Dobas actually give up 4 on 9 shots. We were just talking to Ken, and I'm sure you heard us talking about Zach Benson. This kid, it was kind of wild that he stuck as an 18-year-old, and many people thought this is just another example of Sabres mismanagement. They don't know what they're doing. Well, now a couple years into his career, he's turning into a major problem every time he's out on the ice. And I got to tell you, when you talk about teams, players, lines that are built for the playoffs, when I look at the Buffalo Sabres, I mean, we can talk about Tuck, obviously, but it's the Doan-Benson combination with Ryan McLeod that seems to be in the middle of everything every time they're out there. And now it's not just pissing other teams off, it's also getting on the scoreboard. I mean, this line has been phenomenal, Joe.
Yeah, and it's those 3 guys together on that second power play unit, which is kind of wild to think like that's the second unit. But you've got those 3 together out there, and it's speed, it's skill, it's toughness, it's in your face play, and their regular line with Norris, Benson, and Doan, because Norris centers the main line 5-on-5, but it's the same thing. It's 3 guys that are dog on a bone. It's 3 guys that forecheck full ice, get in your face, try to make you turn it over. And in Benson's case, he tries to drive you crazy, and he's gotten to be really good at it through, ever since his career started. Because that rookie season, man, I mean, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, some people thought, it was kind of Sabres mismanagement. Well, kind of was. That was the offseason. Jack Quinn blew out his Achilles, and Victor Olofsson was going to run it back, and then Matt Savoy was supposed to be the guy that got the lift that year, and then Savoy hurt his shoulder in the last rookie game that fall, and then Benson jumped into that spot to get a look, and he kept impressing, and he stayed, and he never left. And here he is, 20 years old and in his 3rd season, and now it's like everybody's like, oh my God, the heir to Brad Marchand's rat throne is here. He's arrived, and he's doing it in a different way than Marchand did, but he's doing it a lot of the same ways too. There's not a lot of the slimy hits and dirty hits and stuff like that, but it's more just driving everybody crazy. And with a guy who's got as much skill as Benson has, and he has a ton of skill. I mean, geez, he was 3rd in the WHL in scoring in his draft year behind Bedard. He's really good. He's really good at that. But it's everything else about his game. It's the defensive responsibility, the forechecking, the grit, the grind, all that stuff that's made him stay. And now the offense is coming along, and we're seeing more of that skill come out. We saw it in game 1. Both of those goals that he helped set up were phenomenal plays by him, and a lot of that happens because he's doing that job, and he's getting in guys' faces. And the way the Bruins were chasing him around the last couple of games of that series, I mean, we had that Renaissance painting of all 5 Bruins guys chasing him down, and there's Benson just smiling ear to ear.
That should be a poster or a T-shirt if it hasn't already been made. I mean, he's just sitting there with the smirk, and they're all trying to kill him, and Charlie McAvoy's about to whack him, and just heads back there. I mean, that was, to me, that is the image I'll remember from the playoffs, unless, I don't know, he scores an OT winner or something like that.
Right.
I mean, it was vintage Zach Benson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, he's just. I don't know that we knew this side of his game. Maybe we should have compared notes a little more to know if there was more of that style of play in his game as a junior. But I mean, everything about him. It was crazy that he slipped down the board as much as he did, because they took him 13th that year in Nashville, and the fact that they got him there, and now he's been a fixture in the Sabres lineup ever since, is incredible. And I mean, we're just starting to see him evolved now into a big time player. And I think it couldn't happen at the better time for the Sabres, but I mean, the chemistry that he and Doan have is really special.
Well, you know what? We think back to the Quinn trade or the Eichel trade, And, you know, Ostlund obviously is hurt right now. Alex Tuck being the centerpiece of the deal has been exactly what Buffalo needed, both on the ice and I think off the ice to mature and ascend to where they are right now. A lot of people forget about Peyton Krebs being a big part of that trade as well. And now Krebs, after being, I think, a third liner more often than not, now playing with Thompson and Tuck on the Sabres top line. And this is another guy that has a very well-rounded game, and it seems like he's fitting in incredibly well with the two big dogs up on line one.
Yeah, and a lot of his career in Buffalo has been trying to figure out what kind of player he was going to be, because he came out of junior, he had a lot, tons of offensive upside and skill. And I remember talking with a couple of guys who scout, and they said, well, I don't see him being like a top 6 offensive forward, but as a defensive guy, this guy could really make some hay as like a third liner. And you hear that for a first round pick and you think like, oh man, that's kind of a letdown. It's like, no, it's a third liner in the NHL. That's a big deal. And Krebs, his defensive smarts and his ability to just, again, it's Benson-like, where he's just able to just kind of annoy guys by just playing hard, being hard on pucks, hard in corners, not backing off, not doing any of that stuff. He's able to stir things up by just playing the way that he plays. But he's always had this tremendous offensive ability. Like his passing, he's a great passer. He's an incredible passer, and he's got very good offensive instincts, but he knows what his role is, and whatever the coach wants him to be doing, he's going to go do that. That's why, Lindy loves him because of that. Like, he can put him in any role, any situation, and it's like, okay, we got a guy I know who's going to do the job. And in Krebs's case, he gets in there, he goes to the net, he drives the net, he wins pucks out of corners. And when you're popping pucks out of the corner or off the sidewall to Thompson or Tuck, well, suddenly you might have a 2-on-1 or a 2-on-0 below the dots, and you're probably scoring a goal after that. That kind of chemistry that they've got, where they've got guys in those roles on all, like their top 3 lines, is really something else, because you got a guy who's just a pain in the butt, a guy who can really shoot it, and then a guy who's got that all-round ability to shoot, pass, and grind. And man, oh man, it's kind of wild. You're rolling like 3 video game lines out there every game.
Joe Yerdon's in Buffalo. Game 2 tonight. Montreal and the Sabres. Sabres looking to go up 2-0. Just on the way out, we had so much fun watching the scene in and around Buffalo in the first round. What was it like? What was it like for round 2 for the first time in 15 years, before, during, and after?
I got to tell you, it's I've had to get down to the arena a lot earlier than I like to normally, because we all have our routines, right? I've had to get down there a lot earlier, because it's like I gotta make sure I'm in and parked, and like not waiting forever for a horde of people to cross the street or something to turn. So like I'm trying to get down there sooner than I don't, because I know it's going to be crazy. And the first couple of games in the Boston series were really bad weather. It was rainy. It was kind of cold out, and still people were turning out. They turned the camera on Canal Side for game 1, and it was better weather. Like, it wasn't raining, it was cool, but it's Buffalo, man. Everybody can deal with temperatures, and it was a lot fuller than those first few games were. And I got a feeling tonight, Friday, good weather, fans are pumped up, everybody loves this team now. It could be a zoo outside, man. It's I'm very excited to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, a zoo. It's a minus 100,000 is the line on it being insane in and around Buffalo, and then for the game tonight. Joe, thanks so much for taking the time. We'll let you get down to the rink. We'll look forward to turning it on tonight at 6 p.m. Appreciate you, buddy, and enjoy.
Hey, thanks, Huss. Appreciate the time.
Good stuff. There's Joe Yerdon. Give him a follow on X. Great coverage of the Buffalo Sabres in the National Hockey League. All right, we're going to get to Lee Hacksaw Hamilton coming up in just a minute. Of course, it's not particularly warm yet. Warming is coming, folks. I can confirm that. Next few days, we'll be getting there. But listen, soccer season is back. Baseball, softball, you name it. Get ready to get out and make the most of the weather here over the next few months with a trip to Royal Sports, the biggest and best selection in the city of equipment and footwear for all of your summer activities. They got tennis. They got pickleball. They got a massive bike section as well if you're looking to get out on two wheels. Not to mention the best in fan merchandise from the NHL, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, and the Blue Jays, and tons of Canada gear for our men's national team in the upcoming World Cup of Soccer. So do not wait. Get down to Royal this weekend, 750 Pembina Highway, and stay tuned to WST and the Royal Sports Instagram at Royal Sports Winnipeg for the latest merch drops, sale information, and of course the upcoming tent sales after the amazing one last weekend to kick off the season. Goldeyes home opener is coming up on Tuesday, May 19th, everybody. If you don't have your tickets yet, you better get them now. Go to goldeyes.com/tickets. Make sure you get them digitally, get them in your phone, and then get there early. The first 5,000 fans on Tuesday, May 19th for the opener will get a beautiful red Goldeyes jersey that'll be given out at the door when you come in. Of course, tickets and ticket packages are available for the entire upcoming season. You can do flex packs. There's still some availability for patios, for patio parties like we've done. And again, save the date for ours, Tuesday, June 30th. Heading into Canada Day is going to be the WST. We'll get tickets confirmed and put on the site coming up in the next week or two. But mark that down. Save the date for the 30th of June. But the date you want to save first is May 19th. Home opener, jersey giveaway, fireworks, and more. Goldeyes.com for tickets for that. And hey, speaking of opening days, it's opening day at the Downs next Tuesday, May 12th. Darren Dunn's going to join us on Monday's program to set up the season. And we have a contest for you, folks. Go to winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Give us your information so we can get a hold of you if you win. And for the next 3 Wednesdays, after Remis and I make our nightly picks in our head-to-head challenge, we will be drawing 10 names from everyone that's entered. And whoever wins a special digital horse race, not a marble race, but a horse race on the program, the winner will be able to bring a guest and join the WST team for an amazing night of racing on June 3rd, along with plenty of trips to that incredible prime rib buffet, all on WST and Assiniboia Downs. So again, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Make sure you enter the Assiniboia Downs contest and tune in for Wednesday and our first horse race to see who's going to be joining us in the clubhouse dining room at Assiniboia Downs. All right, let's get to the notebook and welcome in Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Saw, what's going on? Great to have you back on the program, my man.
Hustler, a little chilly up there in the Canada area.
Yeah, not as, listen, it's normally much warmer right now, and it's making people a little cranky, but we've got lots of other things to get going. The Bombers are back, training camp's getting going. We've got the basketball team starting this weekend, the baseball team starting up in a couple weeks, the horse track. So we move. I mean, we will be enjoying spring, whether it's 10 degrees or 20, but hopefully it gets a little bit nicer. But man, we've got lots to get to, Lee, and I just love the fact I saw your notes, and I know I've been prodding you. Can we please talk more about Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini? And now, at this point, we have no choice. Every single day, it seems like there's more coming out on this. I mean, has this jumped the shark right now? Like, none of this really surprises me. Yeah, no kidding. They've been having an affair for a long time. Why do you think it's more problematic now, Lee? And why is this still coming out day after day after day?
Because there's a trillion websites and social media is just beyond out of control. At the end of the day, I've tried to ignore it. You report on it initially, but I've let it go. Most of the major media have let it go, but it's a TMZ thing. And at the end of the day, I just wonder, was he targeted? Was he set up? Is this an intentional smear? Can't be the only guy in the history of the NFL that's ever had a relationship outside of his marriage, right?
Definitely not. But let me ask you this. I mean, it seems, particularly like ESPN, the NFL partners, it seemed like there was a gag order right out of the gate. And you know what I mean? Listen, Rossini, very respected member of the media, or at least so we thought. There wasn't really anybody coming to her defense when all this thing happened either on. And now that it started off with the pictures in Sedona, and then it was just more. Then it was the pictures at the club. Like, this now sort of sounds like this was an open secret for years around the National Football League.
Well, maybe in the inner circle. I don't know. In Tennessee, maybe in New England. I don't know. And at the end of the day, though, they really circled the wagons this past week. You know, they had their rookie camp. And, of course, Patriot football is enormous. And there's a huge swath of media that shows up to cover it. And they walked in that locker room in the media sessions when you get your access to the players. And to a man, everybody had questions for every player about Vrabel and Rossini. We weren't talking football. We weren't talking about the new offensive right tackle. They were not the wide receivers, not Stephon Diggs. It was just really strange. And then finally, Hunter Henry, the tight end, and Robert Spillane, the veteran linebacker, both kind of stood up and said, gentlemen, he's a great coach. Don't bring that bleep in here. No more questions about that. So at the end of the day now, the players have kind of closed ranks around Mike Vrabel. And there's just an understanding the media is not going to get anything out of these players because either players have been told not to talk about it or the players have just said, screw it. We don't need to talk about it. That's his personal business. He's going to have to sort his way through it. Let's just concentrate on football because he is a great football coach. So, but to me, I'm stunned. This thing just evolves. Like every other day, there's something new, which leads me to believe that this was a setup and a smear campaign. So that's where we are. Players just don't want to have any more conversation. And they pointed their finger at the media and say, don't bring that bleep in there in this locker room anymore.
You've been in the media for a long time. Does Rossini ever work again for any respected outlet?
TMZ.
Wow, she's the subject, not the... Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Gossip and entertainment reporter for TMZ? I mean...
Quote insider.
Yeah.
No, I don't. At this point in time, because it seems to be so deep, and there's insinuations there may be other people that she's had relationships with. That's toxic. I don't know how she gets the respect of anybody that she'd be dealing with from the National Football League. I think that becomes a bit of a problem. But who, from a certifiable, credible standpoint, as a media group, would hire her? There's so many other good, qualified people out there, and she made her decisions. So be it.
So let's. I mean, I could crack jokes about the Vrabel situation for a long time, but we, as you can imagine. But let's talk about what else is going on in and around the National Hockey League. OTAs are beginning. But again, right now, I mean, you have some undrafted rookies that are signing in different spots, not really big news. It does sound like we're getting some reports that we might be closer to getting Aaron Rodgers' annual decision as to whether he plays. What are you hearing on Rodgers and any other quarterbacking news around the league?
A lot of quarterback issues. I'll just jump around the roadmap with you. Aaron Rodgers flew into Pittsburgh last night, had dinner with the Rooneys. Art Rooney said, we need a decision right now. This has gone as far as it's going to go. I believe he's going to sign a one-year contract at 15 or 16 million. He'll be the guy. Now, they begin their rookie mini camps. I think it might have been today with meetings, tomorrow on the field with all the rookies. So we'll see if he's actually on the field. But then obviously all the OTAs begin, and he signs, he'll be there because he can't go anywhere else now because there's draft pick compensation tied to his contract. And if he was going to go somewhere else, I'd heard Arizona had interest in him, but that had to happen before he was tagged by Pittsburgh. So I would think the next story out of Pittsburgh will be done deal. He's there. He's going to play one more year for Mike McCarthy, and that might be positive. It was interesting. Mike Tomlin made a comment last week, and I wasn't on with you last week, but Mike Tomlin, of course, is going to be on your TV and my TV this coming season for Sunday Night Football. And he talked extensively about the end of the run he had in Pittsburgh. But he tagged his interview in Pittsburgh with a comment about Aaron Rodgers and saying this guy is just at the top of the chart in terms of interaction with teammates, his love of competition, the game. And Mike Tomlin said, this guy can still play. And he played under a structured system and much less freelance football last year with Mike Tomlin. So Mike Tomlin said, I think he should come back to the Steelers. Looks like that's going to happen. One guy that's trying to decide, should I go on? Should I step away? Russell Wilson. He's been offered a one-year contract and a pay cut to be the backup quarterback with the New York Jets. I've been told he wants the chance to compete against Geno Smith. He doesn't want to come in as number 2. He wants an even Steven chance to compete against Geno Smith. I don't know how much gas that Russell Wilson's got left in the tank. Geno Smith might have a little bit more than Russell Wilson. Weird story down in Arizona. Jacoby Brissett is boycotting their OTAs. Now, that's a mess down there because they traded away Kyler Murray. And Brissett started virtually every game after Murray got hurt last year, and it was competitive. But he was 1-11 as a starter. And he said, well, you're going to make me a starter this year? I was going to be a bridge quarterback this year? I would be paid like a starter. He's refusing to play under the $9 million deal. He wants $25 million. And the guy was 1-11 last season. And at this point, Arizona's not responding because Arizona turned around and drafted Carson Beck, the ex-Georgia quarterback, the Miami Hurricane quarterback, and he's in their rookie camps beginning Saturday. So he's going to get a preponderance of snaps. Tyrod Taylor is on the brink of setting the record for the most teams he could play for in the league. He, of course, just signed a free agent contract to back up Jordan Love in Green Bay after Malik Willis left to go to Miami. And they should pick up the phone and call this guy. I don't care that this guy's in the Baltimore Ravens camp, but I think the Blue Bombers should call this guy.
Diego Pavia.
Yeah, call Pavia and get him to come. I mean, I know a lot about football, but there's not a lot of 5'9" quarterbacks that can succeed in the NFL. I mean, Doug Flutie might have been the rare exception. But Pavia in Canada, he could be a hero. They'd love him. Dynamic personality, throw the ball, run the ball, spend some time in casinos.
Believe me, the people in Manitoba Lotteries would be quite excited if the Bombers announced Diego Pavia's coming here. I mean, listen, he signed that deal with the Ravens, which I have no idea what he got up front. Probably not a lot.
No.
Listen, any quarterback is going to stay in the NFL as long as they can because of the paycheck. Even if they're just being on the roster, it's going to be more money. But I am with you. If he does get released and he would give the CFL a chance, that would be a player that would have the potential of being a superstar in this league. And
a lot of dynamics to the guy. Little off the charts in terms of persona.
Might have to be humbled a little bit to come down and fit in with a team of professional men that have been in there for a bit, but he is really fascinating. Hey, just before we go, there are some veteran wideouts that are looking for work. We did see, was it Joanne Jennings that just signed with the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah,
a one-year deal at over 13. Definitely. I mean, it gives them a good number 3 behind Addison and Justin Jefferson. Who else is out there? Well, I guess Diggs is looking for work now that he's been acquitted of all that business with his chef.
Well, a lot of these guys have a lot of baggage. If I run through this laundry list, you shake your head and say, okay, this guy's got talent. Most of these guys are older. Some of these guys have had injury problems, but virtually every one of them's got baggage, AKA diva. Do you want to put up with that distraction? Diggs is one. Diggs' situation, not only the strangulation lawsuit, but he's got baby mamas all over the place. That's an issue because that's why he's moved from team to team to team to team. And he's no longer what he was in terms of a star player. Tyreek Hill's got a world of class and a world of talent, and he's coming off a dislocated kneecap, and he's being sued everywhere. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of women with children from him who have receipts. You want to get involved in that? Now, he may wind up in Kansas City on a much lower contract. The thing is, can he play any longer with the dislocated kneecap? And he is 32 years of age, but that guy's got talent, but man, that guy's got baggage. DeAndre Hopkins, been all over the roadmap. Makes plays occasionally, but he's not a superstar any longer. He may view himself as a superstar. He's available out there. Odell Beckham is trying to make a comeback for about the 3rd or 4th time. Big history of injury. He's met with the Giants twice. Harbaugh talked to him, but at this point, I don't know that mentally he wants to come play at the minimum salary, and nobody's going to give him much money because he's probably missed the last 3 years with all types of injuries. And I do like the signing of Jennings. I don't understand what happened in San Francisco. He had 70 receptions 2 years ago, 55 receptions in half a year last year in Frisco. And they brought a broom in and they swept the wide receiver room clean because they had so many personas and problems there. So, yeah, there's still some guys out there, but you're getting the player and you're getting their baggage too.
Saw, hey, before we go, how about them Ducks? Big one tonight at the Pond.
How about the playoffs?
Oh, the playoffs have been incredible. And apparently a hell of a lot more Yanks watching it. Now, I'm not sure it's just because every single person in Western New York is locked into the playoffs, what the Sabres are doing right now, but seems like a pretty good run for the NHL south of the border right now.
All-time record TV viewership. And the game is different. The game, we've gone through a changing of the guard. Here came Montreal. Here comes Buffalo, the arrival in Anaheim. That's made a huge difference. But the cable network partnerships, that's the whole difference. I can watch 3 consecutive games where I'm based in San Diego, one game because of the timing, one to the next, which is absolutely phenomenal. There's always a good game, and the playoffs have been spectacular. Buffalo has arrived after 14 years of misery. Montreal's front office is not getting enough credit for the construction of that roster, and it's been a painful 8 years in Anaheim. And the Ducks force-fed all those kids, put them up in the show, and they weren't ready, and they went through some really bad times, and they've arrived because they made acquisitions of veteran players, role players, chemistry veterans to go with Gauthier and to go with Leo Carlson, etc. This is exciting. And I mean, I know it's crazy on the Niagara frontier because the wife is Canadian, Quebec, Montreal fan. So we always have to watch the early game to see Le Bleu Blanc Rouge. And it's crazy in Anaheim. I mean, what's going on with the fans here is just ridiculous. And they've taken over the market. The Angel baseball franchise, no longer exists. Everything is being referred in the media is now being referred to as Orange Country, not Orange County, Orange Country, because of the Ducks. So playoffs have just been great. Now, let's be realistic. Looming out there, Colorado Avalanche. So this is not a complete project by any stretch of the imagination, but just the hockey playoffs have been great. I'd love to find out what the TV ratings are north of the border in Canada, even though most of the Canadian teams are out of this mix. But at the end of the day, what they've done is a record TV ratings, regular season and postseason for the NHL this side of the border. Fabulous.
Saw, you have yourself a great weekend. We'll look forward to catching up on all of it at LeeHacksawHamilton.com. And folks, get over to the YouTube channel. Give Hacksaw a sub as well and check out his content on YouTube. Have a good weekend, pal. Thanks for doing this.
Have a great sports weekend. Thanks, Andy.
All right, there it is, the one and only Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hacksaw 1090 over on your X machine as well if you want to slide Lee a follow. All right, we'll wrap up Marbles registration. If you've just been sort of listening and you want to get in on it, !Marbles in the chat. Man, I'm counting down a couple weeks before heading out to Aikens Lake, which I cannot wait. If you are into fishing or maybe even not, just are looking for a world-class fishing experience where they'll take care of you, put you on to fish, and show you what to do. And with the world-class fishing, even more world-class hospitality. You can be on the water in less than 2 hours from the city of Winnipeg. Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge is the spot. Go to aikenslake.com to find out more information on options and availability for the 2026 fishing season. And let's check in on what's going on at the Truist Championship on the PGA Tour for our friends at Breezy Bend. Breezy Bend, of course, great sponsors of ours since day one, and one of the top private courses in Manitoba. Go to breezybend.ca for more information on membership options if you're thinking about making Breezy long-term golfing home for you and your family. Sungjae M has had a nice round today. He's 2 under on the 15th, or through 15. He's 9 under par. Matt McCarty at 8. My guy Tony Finau has not done much this year, but there he is, just 3 shots back at 6 under par, along with Justin Thomas, Tommy Fleetwood, Matty Fitzpatrick's brother, Alex. And as we move down, look at our guy, Sudar Shen, Yelamaraju. I think he just actually had a bogey, but he's 2 under par right now. T25, along with Canadian Corey Connors, one shot better than Xander Schauffele. Mr. McIlroy is 3 under par right now. He's playing the 12th, 2 under on his hole right now. PGA Championship next week. So it's major week. We'll have to get Feinberg on and do some, maybe do a pool for everyone to get in on it as well. Again, breezybend.ca for more information on Breezy. And the Truist Championship at Quail Hollow will continue through the weekend. All right, let's give a big cheers. It's Friday. Don't forget your local beer vendor. Many bars. I saw it at Win City the other day. We were at the A last Friday. Small cans, the 12 ounces of both Little Brown Jugs Generic Lager and 1919 available. And if you pop by the vendor, you can get a mixed pack as well. But let's kick off the weekend before we get to marbles with a big cheers to our friends at Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
All right, great stuff with Hacksaw. Let's get Remis in here, and we'll get ready to do the marbles. I want to hit the cool bet lines in just a minute. But Remo, did I see Connor Hellebuck on the cover of People magazine?
Yes, that's right, Huss. They have a special edition issue, and shout out to it. iHeart was the first listener in chat to give us a mention. A special issue, America at 250, a celebration of American treasures, Dolly Parton, Team USA, and more. And here's the cover, Huss. They put this on their own Facebook page. People magazine, yes, still around. Magazines, they're still here. There he is in his jersey with the gold medal around his neck alongside Dolly Parton, Tom Cruise, Taylor Swift. Incredible stuff here with Connor Hellebuck on the cover of a special edition People magazine, America at 250.
What a crew. What a crew. So we've got that Alyssa Liu. Who's that below her? Is that Bad Bunny?
I don't know. I know.
Yeah, that's Bad Bunny. That's Bad Bunny. Helly, Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm. Is that Beyonce?
Cruise. Yeah, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and I'm going to say, is that Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, that's who that is? Oh,
I think I'm right. How about that? Nailed it. Pop culture king right here, despite never going to movies. I know the Olympics, so I knew Alyssa Liu. Bad Bunny, I'm familiar with him from an incredible match against Damian Priest in the WWE.
They're going to say Super Bowl.
Hey, listen, I mean, as like Logan Paul came in, did his celebrity thing, and then ended up staying. Incredible athlete, like he's kind of in a different category. But like of all of the celebrities that have come in for WrestleMania or done anything like, you know, celebrity matches, I think he might be the best. Like it was amazing. I think around the Super Bowl, I tweeted it out. But if you're interested, if you're a Bad Bunny fan and want to see what he did in the WWE, just look it up. It's on YouTube. You'll be able to check it out. Is Tom Cruise, like, is he's still kicking around?
They're talking about Top Gun 2, or sorry, I guess it would be Top Gun 3, but the new Top Gun, I mean, came out a couple of years ago. It was the biggest, people that brought movies back. It got people out to the theater. Again, does his own stunts, looking the same, Huss. Tom Cruise, he's still kicking.
Interesting. I mean, there's only one guy with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, as far as I know, on that list. We know who that is. And then, of course, bottom right, my queen, looking great, ready for another season. And, of course, geez, how soon is the wedding?
Yeah, is it next month?
The wedding is...
Is it like June 13?
That's right. Because remember when Zach was on, I was all excited because they had a Thursday game going into their bye week.
Yeah.
which means that he should be able to attend the nuptials.
Did you see there's some like Instagram videos going around about Zach Collaros, about how good he was in college with Cincinnati and how he grew up in Ohio. We know the story and how he's with, but I think now that he's got this affiliation with the Kelseys, and I did see like Jason commenting on this Instagram posts, like with the, I don't know, it was a goat emoji or something like that. But man, like we're a month away or so from this wedding, and there's going to be cameras, there's going to be pictures floating around.
It's going to be North America's version of a royal wedding.
I mean, Zach Collaros, he's better be looks-maxing, getting ready for this wedding. There's going to be a lot of pictures out there.
I love that you dropped looks-maxing on the show
We're
today.
talking about looks-maxing the other day in my hockey locker room. Got to get out the hammers and start chiseling my face.
Well, I hope our guy Zach Collaros can be win-maxing with the Bombers this year. And hopefully Kevin Cheveldayoff can be talent maxing with the Winnipeg Jets in the offseason with whatever they're going to do. And give us lots of stuff to talk about here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. All right, just quickly before we go to the marbles, cool bet lines for tonight. I saw somebody in chat asking when the next poker game is. It's next Wednesday. Myself, Remis, Hammer, we'll be ready to go 8 p.m. over at Cool Bet. It's live right now. If you want to go in and register, just go in, click on poker when you get there, go into tournaments and search WST. You'll see it. We will be there. We'll look forward to seeing you. So mark it down next Wednesday, 8 p.m., our next WST poker tourney. And a couple other things. I'm so excited for World Cup. Got some bad news. I think I mentioned this earlier about Alphonso Davies. Apparently a hamstring issue. He's going to be out 4 to 5 weeks, which takes us, like, we're 33 days away from Canada's opener. That would be a disaster if Fonzie couldn't play for us at home in that game in Toronto. But we'll stay on top of that. If you're playing at CoolBet, make sure to go to the promotions tab. And before you make any wagers, click on the Picks for Kicks, experience a trip of a lifetime, your chance to win tickets to Vancouver to see Canada play in the World Cup. An incredible package awaits. And of course, for you golf fans, get in on the golf trip of a lifetime package. Someone is going to win a trip for 4. You and your foursome to Cabot to play Cabot Links, Cabot Cliffs, 3 days, all-inclusive trip. And again, just click on the promotions, opt in, and then press submit. And then for every $25 bet you make, you get a raffle. And for the golf one, it's 5 times points for golf, 3 times points for hockey and CFL. So you can get a few entries in and maybe, just maybe, get the golf trip of a lifetime. All right, tonight in the National Hockey League, 2 big games. Starting it off in Buffalo with the Habs and the Sabres. And right now we're looking at the Montreal Canadiens, a plus 109 underdog, and the Sabres at home, minus 128. Straight up pick 'em between the Ducks and the Golden Knights. Minus 109, minus 108 for Vegas and Anaheim in that matchup. Tomorrow, the Canes are minus 189 to sweep the Flyers. And the Avalanche, minus 131. Minnesota, plus 112. Hopefully, Minnesota can get back into this series. And I mean, this is shaped up to be such a great one, going 6 or 7. We'll see whether Eriksson Ek can come back. I mean, that's the biggest hole in their lineup. They just don't have the center power that even close, even at full strength, to manage what Colorado has. But Rad Hartman's not going to get it done as the number 1 center against a team like the Colorado Avalanche. UFC 328 is up. You know what? I should do this. I'll let anyone that likes betting at Cool Bet, that likes UFC. Our guy Big Maple will often pop in with a super chat for the people for his picks. He did it last week. Hit us another winner. He sent me a DM today. He's running around, but it's a stacked UFC card. Write this down if you want. the Big Maple parlay. I'll be riding with it. Ochoa, Sabatini, Amosov, and Chimaev in the main event. If you just take those 4 for a parlay, it's plus 324. And then his picks for the main card, Green, Brady, Cortez Acosta, Van, and Chimaev. That's 12-1 for the main card. Shout out to our guy Big Maple. And yes, it's all up there. Did you see the face-off or whatever yesterday with the Chimaev and Strickland, and Chimaev gave him the oblique kick and all hell broke loose, Reem?
Yeah, I have seen that going around. So that's certainly one way to promote a fight. And Saturday, a little UFC. I don't know if there's a late playoff game Saturday because we have Avalanche Wild at 8. So we got Hurricanes Flyers Saturday 5, game 4, Avalanche Wild game 3. I did see Eriksson Ek practicing today, so we'll see if he gets in. And yes, I can watch finish it off with a little UFC. Sounds like a nice little Saturday.
Good stuff. And again, one other thing that CoolBet has going on right now is odds for the Centennial Cup. I did win. If anyone rode with me yesterday on the Hurricanes, Oklahoma City minus 15.5, and the Niverville Nighthawks.
You won?
We cashed that one at plus 350. Shout out to the Nighthawks.
Wow.
Anyone seen the goal by the OT winner? Was a wild one. They were trying a stretch pass, and this was just great coaching from Hurst, the head coach of the Nighthawks, and the Niverville player just picked the puck off. They had a one-man in, picked it off, went in, backhand over. I think the overtime went 16 seconds. There you can see it doing a great Birdman impression. It happened so quick, I don't think they ended up getting the full video of it. But that Instagram for the Nighthawks, MJHL Nighthawks, has some great highlight package. I watched the entire thing. They're playing tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. is Niverville's next game. And then with the schedule, they don't play on Sunday. And they actually don't play on Monday either. Their next game after tomorrow morning is going to be against the Alberta League's Canmore Eagles. And that will be while we're on the air on Tuesday. So we'll pay attention to that and let you know how things are looking. And then huge matchup on Wednesday, also at 2 p.m. The number 1 and number 2 teams in the CJHL rankings from March at the end of the season, Niverville and Rockland, are going at it. So we'll stay on top of that as well. All right, Remo, it is marbles time. By the way, CoolBet guys, if you haven't played there before, use the promo code WST, and they'll hook you up with a 100% bonus up to $200 if on your first deposit. And don't forget promotions tab, opt in, soccer contest, golf contest before you make your bets, just so you're getting all your ballots. All right. Man, what a pleasure it was seeing this man last weekend with his band at the A. Let's get it started for marbles with the one and only Tristan Rivers music.
Okay, I got to pick any choice for theme song here. Doesn't matter.
Dealer's choice.
I
always like being surprised.
Dealer's choice. I haven't done this one for a while.
Why use effort even for pleasure? You find luck to drive.
that like a Hockey Night in Canada theme?
Yeah, so they had, I don't know if you saw the giveaway was me with the jacket. Did you see that part? Where is it? With my headshot. This headshot, I'm probably
The
due.
blue jacket. I like it.
I'm probably due for a new headshot, but this one's too good. I'm gonna roll with it as long as I can here. This one's.
Did you ever get the? Did you ever purchase the pencil sketch that someone was trying to sell for $500 of you?
No, but there is a pencil sketch available of me, my headshot, for $500. If anyone is looking to buy it, let me know. I can get you in contact with the artist.
It's still on sale. It's still on sale. They're holding on to it, holding out to get their price.
Last I heard, it was in someone's bathroom. That's the last I heard about the whereabouts of the drawing.
Oh, good stuff. Thank you, Candace and Tristan. Great to see you guys last week. And I just want to know when the next show is of the GNR and ACDC, ACDC tribute acts. That was whoever was not there, you missed out big time last week. We got to do that again sometime. So much fun.
I invited my cousin, and he said it was too late for him. And I showed him like the videos. He's like, should have gone. So I said, we'll try to go to the next one, whenever the next one is. I know they play like what they did Gimli last year and maybe Winnipeg Beach, like playing all the small like community stuff around the province. They played the X last year.
I'll travel. I mean, hey, Travel Manitoba. We're going to do some Stool Cup with Travel Manitoba. How about heading out to a rural area to see a show of that? Count me in on that.
I got to message Tristan when his next. I mean, they nailed. I didn't see the ACDC one, so I'll have to go for that. But you said it was ACDC. They had two singers, Bon Scott and Brian Johnson.
They started off with the Brian Johnson did the first half hour or so, and then they had this long intro for Hell's Bells, and then a completely different guy came out and was Bon Scott for about the next half hour, and then they finished off, I can't remember what song they were doing, but with the very rare Brian Johnson and Bon Scott duo, and it was phenomenal. All right, let's get this race going. What do we got today?
I did. So we got 197 people in the race right now. I got to make sure I close it. Because it was still open when Connor did Sunday Live and people were trying to get in.
Great
Sunday.
one. Okay, as you do this. Corey Heika, I recently sold a bass amp to the bass player of that GNR tribute band. And the crazy thing is he messaged me about it during a marble race. Go figure. But it was good to see. Yeah, a bunch of your homies were out there. A bunch of my buddies came. We all had a great time. Tristan Rivers, I think, will be at Gimli again, September 6th. We need just a big Manitoba tour. I want to be a groupie for the...
I'm in.
For the just all of WST. We're just going to travel. We're going to do the show wherever Tristan's band is playing with the GNR. The costume changes for the Axl Rose guy was the best. I mean, the fact that he had like the white high tops with Axl on the front, I mean, it was... No detail was too small.
The costume changes were incredible. Even Tristan started off as 87 slash with the jean jacket and then took the jacket off. He had the Pepe Le Pew shirt from the Use Your Illusion tour. It was, I felt like I was back in 1987, 91 era. It was incredible.
Candace also mentioned that Tristan never, ever wears shorts. Which is true. I guess I've always seen him in jeans and his pink Sev hat, but for the Angus Young, you got to wear shorts. So the outfits were amazing. All right. Anyways, where are we? What course are we doing today?
Hold on. What's the date today? May 8th. And let me bring it up here. I don't even have the marble race open.
D2065, can Jet Season ticket holders watch Moose for free? Yeah, you should have a Flow Hockey, although if you haven't used it yet, I don't know, you might be able to fire your rep and get the info on that. I don't have that, unfortunately, with you. But, and I'm not sure whether it was just for the regular season or it's the playoffs as well. The guys were mentioning there might be a different sub, but Flow Hockey, if you have a sub, you'll be good to go for that. Yes, good luck to the Moose tonight. Do or die, 6 p.m. tonight. Moose and the Grand Rapids Griffins. And fingers crossed they get a win, and then they'll do it again tomorrow at 6 p.m. as well from the Van Andel Arena. Win or lose, we'll break it down for you on Monday's show. Hopefully talking about some games coming to the Canada Life Center. If they're able to shock the world and win both of those games in Grand Rapids. Otherwise, we'll connect with the guys to talk about the weekend and the end of the playoff run for the Moose. But good luck to the gang. And, of course, you can also listen to Dan Fink's call tonight. I'm not sure whether it's on OB, but it'll certainly be available, as it always is, over at moosehockey.com or through the Winnipeg Jets app.
We got the race here, and I'll be tuning into that Moose game time. We got the 2 hockey games. Nice to be back with the early game and the late game. We mentioned Canadian Sabres at 6, Golden Knights Ducks 8:30. So here's the track us. I sampled a couple. This one I enjoyed. Special chosen marbles. Oh, and there's an interesting part where there's a fork in the road, and let's just say one of them is a dead end.
Alrighty then. You got me in here?
All caps. Hustler.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dan Jets fan, the flow hockey is only good for the regular season. So, you don't need to call your rep, I guess, for that. Yeah, and Scatback, I know the games have been on OB. I would imagine they're probably going to make it happen tonight, but we will see. Todd Fertani, WST Gimli bus trip. Well, maybe we'll do another trip back to your neck of the woods, Fertani. You missed it big time last week. It was a good time. All right, here we go. 198 marbles, the special chosen marbles. Hopefully, when you get to the fork in the road, you take the right way. Here we go. Big multicolored funnel to start. I do like the big funnel starts, Remo. Either that or the Plinko starts are always fun. But we're going to see who gets down here first. Looks like, is it Shane Payne? I see Royal Sports. Let's see. Who do we got? First marble down is Blackie and Royal Sports 2320. Dan Jets fan, Waiters. Big week for Waiters. Still fired up, I'm sure, from the draft lottery. Blackie O in first place right now. Dan Jets fan, Royal, Scatback, Waiters, Joanne Boutte or Boulet as well. Blackie doing quite well. All right, we're splitting up here through a little corkscrew and then jumping into one of the big orbs. I've not had any sign of my marbles so far, unfortunately. Blackie's still in first, but a big group of people now all coming into this big orb. Everyone's in now. Who is coming out first is the question. Blackie, nicely done. Not too often you see someone go in first and then come out first as well. And I think XX Revolution, another common contender in our races right now. All right, here we go. Is this the
Yeah, it's coming up here. So there's a right and a left.
You want to go on the right or you want to go on the left?
I think you want to be on the right.
Okay.
So you'll see, like Blackie. I think Blackie's going up the right way here, and the other guys are gonna get shot the wrong way.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, Blackie's in there.
See, El Treffy
That's
and
not
Greg.
the end.
See, I don't know where they're going.
Oh, they're getting shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So now,
Tough luck if you went the other side. Oh, man, this is going to be anybody's race right now. It looks like there's about 100 marbles all together.
oh my God, yeah, it's crazy.
This is going to be crazy, this end. All right, a whole bunch of marbles are on this step. Oh, this is going to be wild. No advantage for anybody right now. And now we're coming up. Anyone's... Oh, did I see Duck Dad there? Could this
He's
be
in there.
the first day? All right. About 1 million marbles, all seemingly right there. Ken 007 on the bottom. I think Corey on the top. Who's it going to be? Coming down to the wire. Who's in first?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
Corey.
How do you pronounce the last name? I can't read it.
Oscarwitz?
All right. Corey O.
Zirkowitz? I don't know.
Corey O, congratulations. Ken 007 in second. Is that our guy Ken Hotz?
Yeah, and Ken, man, he DM'd us. He was watching. First of all, he gave me pictures from Antarctica with a penguin.
Yes, he told me about that. I need mine. I want to put that up.
And a Jets puck. I have it. It's here somewhere. But he DM'd us last week. I think he was watching in, I want to say Spain? Where was it? It was on, oh yeah, here he is. Wandering around Florence in my Jets hoodie, and someone mentions Winnipeg Jets, and he had a Habs hat under his shirt and jacket. Oh yes, he sent, I don't know if he's there for the World Championships, but he's there early. He said, watching WST for a bit while having a beverage by Zurich by the river. That was last week. And he had
well, if he can get back to Zurich next week, he'll be able to see Scheif and DeMello and Velarde do their things. Congratulations, Corey Ozirkowitz. Corey O! First-time winner on WST, I believe. And then, yes, Ken, world traveler and ultimate ambassador for WST. Ken 007 right there. Hope you're watching. Nicely done. Stiff Cliff, excellent nickname, in the third. That looks like that's the Gitch. Sean Lishkable. Jesse P33. I think that might be Jesse, the pizza delivery guy. Where we got Tedward Bear, Choices TK, Bose KLR, Destruction 889. I think that might be my brother. Nicely done, Dunk. S2 Norm G, top 10 performances today. There's Duck Dad in 14th. Mary Jane, WST fan favorite. Mary Jane, I hope you have a great weekend. Another ESTer, VR Montenegro in 17th. As we continue down, you see there's Running Man. Darth Skater got in there today. Jerry from Winnipeg. There's Candace. Drewsman and Tracy O. What else do we have here? CC Rickety. There's Joanne Boutte, Brady O. Dan Jets fan. Bozeman. You got me today, buddy. 52. There's been no sign of my marble. I might have gone the wrong way. Tyson D 204. What up, Tice? There's Russ Lowen. There's Hustler. What was I? 119. Not too bad. Not too good, actually. Especially when my nemesis was around 50 or so. Tristan Rivers Music. And then here's the gang that went the wrong way today. And, Amanda. Top roped. Tough start to the weekend. The Dream, Jamie Stevenson. Who else is in there? V-Dub, Jet Oil Tom. All right. Congrats, Corio. Good stuff today on the marbles. Remo, what's up for the weekend?
Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms out there. To my wife. Is
Mother's Day this weekend?
Yeah, Monday's Mother's Day. Get a card. Do what you gotta do. Sorry, Sunday. Did I say Monday? No, Sunday's Mother's Day. So I got.
Is that for sure?
Yeah, Mother's Day. So shout out to all the moms. Sunday I've got dinner. I got a thing tomorrow afternoon. Celebrating all the great moms out there. Mother's Day.
I can't believe I didn't know it was Mother's Day until right this second. I thought that
I'm on it. Well, my wife's been sending me all these Instagram reels of women saying what they want for Mother's Day, saying they just want to sit there and have a bit of a break to enjoy themselves.
Yes.
And that, but still want to, have fun and be part of the family, but also want a break. So I'm getting a lot of mixed messaging from my wife as what she wants for Mother's Day.
Maybe Leah wants a wild night out. You know what? You tell her.
No.
You'll take care of the kids. She can come with our crew tonight. We'll maybe go to the PAL later on. Just get a good Mother's Day trip to the PAL. Doesn't that sound wonderful for all you moms out there?
She goes to bed very early, so she's actually in a race. She's in a race tomorrow morning, so I think it's gonna be early night, early morning, and yeah.
A race of what? Running?
Yeah. What is it? Physio Fit Run? I usually see Bo there hosting, actually. But my dad got my son to do the 3K, so my wife's going to join in the 3K run. That's just a
Evan's
short run.
running the 3K?
Yeah, he's never, yeah. My dad's going to be in it too with my brother's son as well. 3K. I don't know. He said they did 1K last year. It was too short.
They couldn't get you to do it?
I could do it. I'm with my daughter. I don't know. She's pretty young, so I'm going to be with her. We'll see.
You know what? You're supposed to do the super dad work where you get like the thing where you carry the kid and run the 3K.
I could do it. But no, I want to check out that Jets equipment sale, but I don't think I'll be able to.
10 to 4.
Yeah, I can't get there for 10. And so I don't know if I want to go. It's probably good to not go. Huss, maybe save my wallet.
Seaver Matt, you can see the Huss processing the stress in real time.
About Mother's Day, yeah.
My calendar's still on April. My mom's the best. My mom's probably watching this right now, actually. So the fact that I did not know about this will be, I have nowhere to hide when you're on YouTube every day. Yes, S2 Norm, a trip to the Palomino to party with Hustler and WST gang would be worth the drive from Saskatoon. Come in for a game. We'll see it. Well, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to these games tonight. Maybe I will check out that sale tomorrow. I almost bought a game-worn Elias Salomonsson Moose jersey at the first playoff game. I was talking to Pat Lelliott there, and I was thinking about it all week, and then I forgot to go and check it out when I was at the Grand Rapids sale. So unless it's gone, maybe it'll still be there. Put it together with my party, one of my prized possessions. I've got a lot of other things, but that game-worn Adam Party jersey still amongst the favorite things in the collection.
Well, you could get a player-used locker room stall. There's breaking news. There's 2 bids on the Ville Heinola locker room stall, going for $510. One bid on the Jonathan Taves locker room stall is for $2,000.
Anything with Taves on it goes like nuts. Like, did you see when they were doing those jerseys? Like the game-worn jersey auction?
Okay.
The Taves, I want to say, went for, like, a few of them were going like for a few thousand. I think the Hellebucks was like 7 or 8. And then I think the Taves was like 14 or 15 or something like that. Which, I mean, to be honest, the guy's going to be going straight to the Hall of Fame. If this is his 1 year not playing for the Chicago Blackhawks to finish his career, it'll be, I mean, anything Jonathan Taves from this year will be sort of a neat little artifact. Obviously, still up in the air. I know he said he was going to take a couple weeks to decide. We're past a couple weeks, but I don't know if anyone's really digging around that, but I'm sure we'll find out at some point on that moving forward.
The one with the most bids right now, Hayden Fleury, 15 bids. Started at like 500. It's now up to $910. Hayden Fleury locker room stall. Big bidding war early.
Interesting.
It's interesting to see which locker room.
What's the timing? Like, how long is this auction on for?
Like 9 days and 5 hours. Like 9 days, so a while. So usually, on eBay, you kind of swoop in at the end and put your bid in. There's no benefit to bidding early, unless you want to say that you bid, but just don't do it.
Well, as T. Will said in the chat, moms love locker room stalls. So maybe you can bid on one of those and tell mom that it might be about 10 days late after the auction closes, but you're pulling for that. for a Mother's Day gift. Great stuff today, gang. Shout out to everyone in chat. Fun times today. Fun week. Thanks to Ken for making it after the ultimate media move of going to cover the press conference with the big lunch spread voluntarily. Shout out to Joe Yerdon, Josh Frey-Sam, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, all of you. Huge thanks to the sponsors that make WST happen each and every day. That is about going to do it for us today, folks. Good stuff, Remo. Fun week. Don't forget WST Sunday Live, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Maybe you set up mom with breakfast in bed and an iPad to watch Connor and Liz do their thing. They'll be live at 9. If you can't catch it live, catch it anytime after that over on the YouTube channel or the podcast. And we will be back to figure out whether the Moose are done or whether they're moving on to the next round. Blue Bomber training camp, Sea Bears opening up their season, Assiniboia Downs getting going, and of course, we'll be another few days closer to the May 19 Gold Eyes home opener. That is going to do it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see you on Monday on Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Have a great one.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.